Everybody remain seated where you are.
Hey, man, so you put me on? Yeah. Then why isn't alcohol made illegal? Flowers and grass. Like you street shit. Hangers and roses and... Guys, that cigarette, much worse. Right, man. As much as you want.
Drive a party. There's nothing wrong with grass. Yeah. 1,000 times. You'll never go to harder drugs.
Don't take any films of me. You're not going to use them anyway.
Well, speak your mind then.
Okay, I will. No one has the right to tell me what I can do with my own body, what I can eat, drink, or smoke. This is a free country, and no one has the right to take away my constitutional rights.
It's the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. Question all the things that you know. Steve likes the weed. Steve likes the weed. Tell you about DMT. The DMT. Hoosier Sophisticate Show. The Hoosier Sophisticate Show. Hoosiers with the dream. Sophisticated blasphemy. It's the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. Question all the things that you know. So let's set our minds free for the singularity. It's the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. The Hoosier Sophisticate Show.
Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary, sentient, artificial, intelligence, flora, and fauna alike, to the Hoosier Sophisticate Show, September 28th, 2020. A soft open to the lovely, palatial Sweetleaf Emporium Studios here in beautiful Festus, Missouri. Steve-O, what a week, buddy.
Hey, Mike, hit us with the big overall cam. What's that one called?
Portal Cam.
Portal Cam. Go down to Portal Cam.
It's also on the stream deck.
What? Oh, Portal Cam all day. What are we doing? Where's my head? Portal. Throw it into the portal.
Okay.
Take us back. Take us back. Take us back.
That stream deck's your friend. Here we go.
There we go. We're back. And what a week it's been.
It's been one of the
I'm
best.
all messed up, man. We've had so many good things going, and we talk about us stringing along good thing after good thing. I don't feel worthy of it. I don't feel deserving of it, but I also do. I'm learning how to get over that shit, you know what I mean? But wow, the moments. You made a post about a moment that we laughed our butts off about this weekend. And it was like, I was like, oh, that was a moment in a sea of moments. It was a beautiful moment in a sea of beautiful moments, man. What are we doing?
What are we doing, indeed?
What's happening? What are these weirdos into? And they think it's a sex cult. They're still holding out, thinking it's a sex cult. Maybe it's
we can't tell.
It's a sex cult. We don't know. We don't know. Weird things happen all the time. You never know. Love is in the air.
Love is in the
I
air.
make love with the wind.
Oh, mucho, mucho, mucho amor.
Yeah, so we had a great weekend.
Dude.
Great weekend.
I never like to build things up too much, I never like to build them up too much. I only said it probably 100 times leading up to it. This is my favorite day of the year. I put a little caveat, as this year has brought some unbelievable days to me, including my wedding, when we all got together with the Hoosiers. I did have somebody say something to me who means a lot to me, one of the matriarchs of the Southside families, say something to me about how she had seen some pictures of the wedding. And she's like, it was beautiful, and that's exactly what me and my husband wanted with our wedding. We didn't want it to just be us. we wanted to take all the people that we love to be a part of it. And she goes, and it looks like that's what you guys did. And I was like, that's exactly what we did.
And so many new friends.
So many new friends.
Like a lot of your old friends don't like you guys.
No, they're the
at all.
worst.
They don't like you guys at all.
I-
Old friends and family.
I jettison
burning
them.
bridges. Burning bridges.
Yeah, I jettisoned them. And we
get
are
rid of
off
them.
to the races now.
No, but all jokes aside, the people we've come in contact with the last 3 years. Oh, bud. I'll do it. I'll say it. I'll give a special shout out to Matt Neal.
Oh, buddy. He's as good as they go. He's as good as they
He's like
come.
Mike. It's just like they're pure little-hearted guys that you're like, oh man, the world hasn't destroyed you yet, or maybe it has, and you've rebuilt yourself in a way where you're like, oh, I am all that is good inside. You know, like him winning at O'Reilly stick was one of the favorite moments. He's
Dude,
like,
he showed me.
let's go.
He showed me. He goes, I gotta show you something. He showed me his little heart rate monitor on his Apple Watch, or and he's like, and it monitors where you maybe hit your peaks and everything. He goes, this is the exact moment that my name was announced for the Ryan O'Reilly stick, and it pegged. It was awesome. Like it was. That was all. It was so natural and just naturally occurring.
Dude,
and
it was awesome.
It was so great.
Because then he showed me his watch. And he's like, look, it's 160 beats a minute. 170. 180. And he started to go out, and I was like, oh, damn. And I slowly started to slide the stick out of his hands as Matt Neal fell to the ground. I
Sure.
was like,
Let's
won't
save
be
the
missing
stick.
this.
Yeah.
So next year's tournament will be for Matt
raffle.
Neal. We love you, buddy. No, but all the Hoosiers who came out, guys, oh my God, what a little group of freaks we got here. And the people who haven't hung out with us yet, future friends, as I call them, I don't like to call people strangers. Even as a kid, my mom and dad were like, stay away from strangers. And I said, what, you mean future friends? So I made a lot of friends that way. And a lot of older friends, back in the day. And so now I just love the people that we get to hang out with all of the time, man.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to do something so fun. And then at the end of it, and I think Brian's going to call us and let us know.
We're going to get a
how
little bit
much
of an
we
update.
Raised. You
Buddy,
guys raised. We all raised.
We all raised it.
Yeah.
No. We all raised it. And what was interesting about it is, a lot of preparation goes in this. We decided to do this months ago. It's something we've been doing every year. We try to, single out a family that can use our help the most. I think these types of events are awesome because people are happy to donate to causes and organizations that kind of align with their goals, or but to see the family that it's going to immediately help, I think makes it even that much more just excited to help out. This being the year with COVID, doing what it does, and our ability to all gather and things like that, like we knew our numbers were going to be affected a little bit by that. Originally, when we put this out there, people were signing up and everything, and as time went on, for the sake of being safe, people were like, probably can't make it, been exposed through a person, going to play it safe. So we
usually make people French kiss at the
yeah,
door.
well, there's
kiss
plenty
one
of
another.
Frenching. Plenty of Frenching.
That's why I get it.
But there was, we were expecting on getting close to 60 teams to play washers.
I thought there was going to be more.
And I kind of thought there was
it's
going to
been
be more.
going.
And then as the registration time came around, like people are slowly trickling in. We're like, Ended up getting 32 teams, which is a good little tournament. It's a nice little tournament. But there were a ton of people that were just there to be a part of it. All-inclusive bracelets, just wanted to hang out, some fellowship. And for me, what's really awesome about this is something when my parents moved me to Springfield, like all I ever thought about in Springfield was like how I wish I could take some of the things that I loved about Springfield and just marry it with what I loved about my neighborhood in St. Louis and my friends there. I wanted my friends there to be my friends here, and I knew they would all get along. And
you want all your friends to marry each other.
I wanted, yeah. but to bring those two bits of happiness together for me was something that I've always wanted.
Yeah.
And as you get older, that becomes more of a possibility. You don't rely on your parents to get you from point A to point B, or
You don't?
whatever. Sometimes I do. When I was
drove
30
me
years old, the
everywhere.
first time I hit a dab, I did have to call my dad for a ride. I was a grown adult,
Good for you, though.
but I was being safe.
That's good.
But with this was like for me an example of that type of moment where all of the old school family and community that I grew up with, who we're still changing a lot of those minds with the things that we talk about, and they know us and love us to be who we are, know that we're doing things for the right reasons, or so they think. So and so for them to be able to come together for something that may have otherwise missed them, for a family they didn't know, but because it's like the whole call the banners thing, man. Like, because someone from the neighborhood said this needed to be done, the entire old neighborhood came back together and did it. And there were a bunch of moments for me that were super humbling, that were I felt as though we really accomplished doing something good. It feels good to give. That's something that we talk about all the time. Like, are we selfish because of how good we feel for being able to do these things? And maybe to the level, but that's like, it's almost excused selfishness because other people are taking a part of that. So we had this day. The turnout was about half of what it was, or what we were expecting. But everybody that came there gave and gave and gave and gave. And if they ran out of money, what can I do to help out around here to make this happen? We raised, because I think when you throw an event like this, you kind of measure the success of it based on like a number that you have in your head, or you want to reach certain goals. And I stress over things like that. Like, I want to make sure that not only is it worth everybody's time who came in here, but it's also going to make a significant difference for somebody like Aubrey, for the Matthews family. And I question that all day, and you work a little bit harder. You spin the chuck-a-luck wheel a couple more times. You figure out. You were on your feet
all day.
I was just trying to do what I could, and I watched everybody do that. We had Jessica Evans come in from Kansas City, hustling 50-50 tickets all day. Angie Reichert just running things. Like, people run. I say Angie Reichert. She's married to a Kessler, to Brian Kessler.
I liked what you said much better.
Leaving Kessler's name out of it. What a jerk I am. Angie Reichert Kessler. What am I doing? Angie holding it down. Everybody just doing what they can, serving food, plating food, working the beer tent, whatever they could just to make it happen. And over the course of the day, there was a significant amount of money that changed hands, all for the sake of, for many of those people, to help out a stranger in need, because they were just digging into what could it possibly be like to be a young couple with 4 young children, a brand new infant child, a little 4-year-old girl fighting a battle that most of us can't wrap up.
Her new baby is this big.
Yes.
It was this big. When the baby came in, I was like, babies are that big?
Yeah.
Like, I forgot how little they were.
Totally.
Like, Ivan is this big now. Ivan, I'm carrying the bed. I'm like, what is going on?
What happened here?
He's 5. What is going on? And seeing a little baby and seeing what that family, and not to cut you off, but dude,
you're not cutting. Yeah, no.
It was amazing to see the outpouring of love, and I try to kind of live at this even keel where I don't get too high, I try not to get too low. I get fired up sometimes. I'll cry over music. I feel emotions and stuff, but I sometimes feel blocked off to maybe putting it all out there or something. I'm trying to figure all this out now. Do I have walls up? What do they look like? How do I trust people? Because I always kind of wait for like all these good people. I'm like, well, when are they gonna fuck up? When are they gonna be an asshole? But all of this core group of people have come together. Like, that's just what they do. They just give and give and give and express parts of themselves. With being so close to Aubrey and the Matthews family, you see the pain and trauma and suffering a family can go through. Being so close. That post today about some of the nosebleeds because of
it was heartbreaking.
Treatment. Oh my God. So to allow yourself to go there, to allow myself to think and feel and empathize and wonder what it must be like. Oh my God, can I carry a little bit of that load for you? Can I? Can that picnic? Can you dump a little bit of the load and I can help you carry this thing? We all can. Mm-hmm. Dump a little bit of it, because I know that load must be the heaviest thing anyone has ever had to carry. And we're going to try to help you carry it. I don't know if we can.
We're going to try.
We're going to do our damn best to try. So if you live in those moments of those posts, then I also want to bathe myself in the human experience of when we all got around to sing the guitar and singing Lay It On Me. And everybody's just kind of laying into each other this group of love that we could be. I know we weren't social distanced really, but, we were like this little huddle of people singing their heart outs into the South City sky, man.
After an entire day of work. It was like,
not really,
it felt tribal,
but, yes.
but it felt tribal, right? Like
sure,
after a big hunt, right?
Sure,
after a big hunt and gathering, everybody comes back. There's a feast. Everybody sits around this feast and they celebrate a hard day's work with the best way that you can, which is giving that work value, which it's like we try to sustain this health and this happiness because what it is to be human is to feel this, right? Like that's what the culmination was at the end of the night. And I got
But you can deflect away from that.
No
you
doubt.
can go, I don't feel really anything.
Okay.
I don't feel really anything. That way I'm not too high, not too low. But because you got to let yourself get up and down, Like it made me think of all the times plucking in the basement. I couldn't play an E string, G chord, whatever. But now I'm able to that was my dream, to play the guitar and have my friend sing songs with me. And it is a reality over and over. And each time it gets not better and better, but just I maybe allow myself to accept the glory that is life. We got some comments, Mike, you want to read? Mike, go ahead. Mike and Seth are here, everybody. Go ahead and turn on your camera.
I got you. Yeah, if
Camera?
you want.
Hold on, there's a little bit of scrolling you got to do.
Cockpit.
To
What's going on with that thing?
Crondle at Facebook because of our unmaskedness.
that's great. Scoot over here, Mike.
We
Slide
made.
over there,
Get on
Mikey.
camera.
I heard we made a Crondolette Facebook page. You can point that thing down too, that camera, if you want.
I don't want to touch it.
You can touch it and make it go down. Look at Seth.
Let me disappear.
He wants to
Talking to that mic, Mikey, if you're going to talk.
Scoot over, Mike.
Read those. Yeah, read those clips.
So we made Crondle at Facebook because of our unmaskedness.
Oh, yeah,
Grace
whatever.
John says hello. Jennifer Barra says hello. They want to know how much did you guys reach.
We're getting a phone call.
We'll have a
Everybody
phone
felt
call
the
later. We'll give you
love.
guys all a check-in here.
All the words are so kind, heart-wrenching to see her post. Don't know what that means.
It was
Post today.
Aubrey's post today. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I missed that one. So what we have here on the list today, we have 7 a.m. starting whenever.
Oh no, you don't read that. You just leave it in the background,
you
Mike.
don't? I thought you wanted me to describe what we're
Main
doing.
cam, main
No?
chat.
You don't want-
No.
no? Okay.
No, hold
Denison
on. Move your
College.
hand. Perfect.
I'm
Okay.
saying Denison's name. Denison. Collard.
Say my name. Yeah, why? Say my name. Say my
right,
name. No one is around.
You brought up something where you're talking about deflecting that and feeling that and potentially trying to run away from those feelings. And I think that so I had a couple of moments throughout the course of the day that were just wildly humbling. I was by the end of it, we've been there since 9 a.m. setting up. A whole lot of work goes into it. Up before then, you're on your feet all day. And then you get the opportunity to really cut loose. The work part's over it. You're not spinning a chuck-a-luck wheel anymore. You're not hustling tickets anymore. Now you're just having some conversations. You're catching up. You're catching up from people of yesteryear, like where they're at. And so as that was going on, and we're having a great time singing, Brian looks at me. And Brian and I had a rule, like, we're not going to talk about it being a good day or how we did it until it's the two of us sitting there at 5 o'clock in the morning when everybody's gone. That's when we'll reflect on what we did. Until then, let's just really enjoy what's going on in front of us.
Then we can really stroke each
So
other's
he,
egos.
and we did. Boy, ever did we. That's what we do, guys. That's what gets us through this thing. So he kind of motions towards me as we were done singing a song. So I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on. He's like, you gotta check out. There's a whole different vibe that's going on downstairs right now. And so I come closer to the steps to go inside, and I walk down the stairs, and I'm hit with a wall of sound. We're gonna check in here shortly with Brian Kessler. We're gonna give you guys idea of what we got here.
Well, heads up.
So, anyway, I walk in. It's this wall of sound. Billy Joel. Oh, what a night! And it's like it's a whole.
Late December
Yes.
back in '63. That's
And-
not Billy Joel. What a very special
It's not Billy
time
Joel?
for me. Oh, lady, what a night.
Are you telling me that's not Billy-
I got a funny feeling when she walked. That is not Billy Joel.
Valley and the Four Seasons.
This seemed older than that, though. This was like
Frankie Valli is old.
no.
Yeah.
This felt. Hey, you're probably right. Whatever.
Oh, for the longest time. That kind of sounds
No,
doo-wop-y.
but it wasn't. No. Anyway, whatever. It was oh what a night. I walk in there. Everybody is dancing.
And you've recently
singing
got
at
a
the top
Billy
of
Joel
their lungs.
tattoo. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
because
actually,
of
I
the
went to-
experience.
it's not Billy
This
Joel.
morning, he
It's
got
not
one
Billy
after.
Anyway, so I walk down there. People are dancing. It's a totally different vibe, but it's equally awesome. Like
Dancing
totally
like
different thing. Four Seasons. There you go.
Cranky
At the
Valley.
firehouse. We'll call in a minute. Okay. Don't think it's not. It's not fucking Billy Joel.
Yeah, he made a mistake.
So okay. There's one. I'd tell you.
Yeah, there it is. Keep it coming.
I'd tell you to write it down in a notebook
Yes,
because you're gonna have to.
Frankie Valli,
Anyway.
Frankie.
So I go down there. Everybody's dancing.
Are you guys sure?
It's great. We're going at it.
To Billy Joel.
We're fucking. Everybody is boogieing, dude. Just fucking boogie in. Everybody. All the 3 or 4 different generations of people just fucking dancing the night away. Kind of check in on that situation. Have some fun. Elton John comes on. Your song. We're singing. Everybody's having a blast. This is before I come up to tell you, like, I've got this whole thing going on. Everybody's just loving on each other. Gino's telling me, hey, you guys did good today, you know.
You done good, kid.
Always feels good when,
Done good,
you know,
kid.
the patriarchs and
The
the
elders.
matriarchs of, the elders, the tribe elders, when they say that you guys did good. You did
Because
good.
usually they're riding us
all the time.
riding us.
So I have
Rightfully
I have
so.
that moment kind of down there, and it was awesome. I walk out to your song. I'm telling you, buddy, I just experienced the ending to our movie.
And we were laughing our
And
brains
you and I are playing this out, and people are watching us getting the biggest kick out of one another ever. Like, they don't even realize, like, this is most of our brainstorm sessions. Now, I will say, we laughed harder this time than maybe ever before.
I
But
usually get a pretty
we've
good
broken
cry.
laughter
I usually
a
get
couple
a
of times.
pretty good cry from laughing where my eyes are watering. I'm not crying.
So that's tremendous. I hang out there a
Man.
little bit. There's like a wedding party that is like past belligerent that
Oh,
showed
buddy.
up. They are way past belligerent. They show up. They're kind of moving throughout the party. We're back to singing songs around the picnic table. I'm hanging out down there, telling you all about it, whatever. End up going back downstairs. At this point, it's like it's a bunch of kids I went to grade school with that were all older siblings. You got Kessa's parents, and then you got, like, I'll call them out by name. You got, like, Johnny Neaters, who was, you know, like that next generation ahead of us, like, but still, like, still tied, because that's how the South Side is. Like, we're all just fucking, we're all the sons and daughters and brothers and sisters of the same people. So
For
we're all
sure.
just this big family.
It's like
and
empires.
you and
South
I,
Side empires,
you and I,
legacies.
totally, and you and I have so many connecting
1 million
people.
Steve Sell there with
considering
all those
we didn't know each other until
No,
a couple years
we
ago.
had to have. The
It's
jealousy.
crazy.
Okay. Is the bridal party gone at this point?
They're like, I think there's a couple of them hanging out outside.
Okay.
The groomsmen are still kind of hanging out. I have no idea where these
Real quick, the bride came in hot.
Came
Keep
in
that- hold
real
that-
hot,
Hold that
bud.
thought.
I will.
The
I
bride
got
came
no
in
problem.
hot. Hot. Bride came in hot. Everyone's like, congratulations. She's like, where's Ann? You can tell she's got that stare only like the drunkest people do. And you're like, oh, man. Well, it's her wedding night, whatever.
Yeah, help and enjoy yourself.
She's downstairs in that downstairs part, and like you said, it was like a magical.
It was just
oldies.
weird. You just walk,
Like,
and it always
then-
is. It's
then it
Motown
comes in,
Central.
It's all the songs we've heard a million times before. You're hearing them again for the first time tonight. You're wasting
singing
them,
them-
belting them out.
singing them from your fucking-
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no doubt.
They come in, they're putting on some, new age music, probably some WAP or something. Mike's all night long playing that thing.
I know.
I couldn't handle it with my ears.
I know.
I couldn't take
I
it.
know.
So then, I could tell Gino takes me in the bathroom. He's like, 20 minutes. I'll give him 20 minutes. I was like, oh, this is great. The bride spills Cheetos everywhere. And I'm like, God, that's like kids do that. Like, I remember the first time I got drunk, that
yes,
kind of shit.
Yes.
That's something our dads would say, I remember amateur hour. I don't go out on Mardi Gras. It's amateur hour. Then she proceeds to slip on one single Cheeto, and she eats it back. And I'm like, oh, my God. Well, this must be a recurring thing because everyone's just like, oh, bride down. Okay, cool, whatever. So then 5 minutes later, they're coming out. They're walking her out. She's done.
She's way out.
She's out. She's weekend at Bernie's. You know what I mean?
Yes. Bernie Lomax.
So then we have a table like this set up outside, just a little folding table, and it's got this big candy tower on it. That was just the only thing left out. Only thing. There's about 4 steps, pretty steep concrete, going down from this retaining wall down to the street at Spanish Society. She takes 1-2 steps, then she's gone. All I see is the table. I'm watching this from about 40 yards out, and I see the table, the candy tower, do one of these jostle things, and I'm like, huh? Well, one of the bridesmaids is like, bride down! We got a bride down! Groomsmen! So we are in the middle, and we turn to where the groomsmen are, and there's no one coming, nothing, and I'm like, it could be bad. You might go against the freaking retaining wall or something. They're like, bride, medic! You know what I mean? Like, they're getting crazy. She runs up the steps. Finally, 2 guys mosey their way over there. They have to walk to an Uber, walk all the way, dragging her to an Uber. Poor gal. Dragging her all the way to an Uber. They get in the Uber for a second. They got a trash bag just in case she's blowing chunks everywhere. God love her. And so then the Uber's like, no. I don't know why he said no. I think
I'll give you the
scoop.
Inside
baseball.
I'll give you the scoop.
All the way down the street.
This is Uber. Even better. The groom is in that car.
The groom's in that Uber.
The groom is in that Uber
and sends her away.
Yes.
No, he does.
He says, "Honey, there's no more room in this one. You got to get the next one."
Sir. No,
the
sir.
Uber blows out. I'm like, this guy is coming out the gate hot.
Letting them know right off the bat.
Coming out the gate.
Oh my God.
So.
Her friends were not helping. Yeah, her friends were not. They're like, she's down. And there were 4 girls around her just like, this is what she does. This is what she does. Like, oh, yeah, she's got a little blood from the ears. That's usual.
He stayed in the car and made her get another Uber.
First Uber denied her.
I don't want to get too lost on it because I didn't really recognize what was going on.
It was funny. It was a different
at that point because that had all kind of taken place after what did happen, which was crazy. I had gone back. I had gone back inside for a minute. Oh, there he is. Let's go ahead and take that call.
Let's take that call. There he is, Brian Kessler.
Brian Kessler's on the air.
Boys.
Oh, that sounded like a good voice. What's up, buddy?
How are you guys doing today?
Oh, man. My cuppeth runneth over.
Indeed.
Oh, you have no idea, my friend.
Well, will you give us some idea?
What a night is
Frankie Valli.
The best song that you can have that night.
It was the best song that I could have walked into. You pulled me into a absolute. It was just It wasn't better. It was just a different wave, right? Everybody out here singing kind of slow acoustic jams and loving on one another, and everybody in there it's a freaking dance party. It was awesome. It was awesome.
So much love going on everywhere.
Yeah, I know. The illegal kind, too.
Illegal kind?
This is going to be, I just watched the end part of your story there about the groom frickin' telling her to take another Uber. So this is going to be some good story time at the fire.
Perfect.
I got that one secondhand. Brian, people are wanting kind of an update. You and I, we toiled over this all day. We were having some conversations behind the scenes. The turnout wasn't quite what we wanted, but to be expected with COVID and everything. Can we give people a rough idea of what kind of work we did for the Matthews family this weekend?
I will give you that. I will say that the crowd wasn't as heavy as it normally is, but the hearts were amazing. I can tell you that. With we pretty much cut the field in half with the teams, but this year, everybody gave like crazy. I think opening up the online for the Ryan O'Reilly stick and for the tickets and everything. It just made a huge difference for us. And with everything combined with the AFAF, it looks like we're probably going to be able to give them around $10,000.
Dude,
I just got chills saying it.
Yeah, man. It's a life-changing amount of money for anybody. Being the recipient of this whole weekend, Brian, it's 7 years to the date of when this, when we did one in Carondelet, and I can't tell people how much that helped my folks and our family.
Yeah.
Because the cost of being sick is astronomical, but the cost of life doesn't stop. Like you're not being able to work anymore, not being able to, generate revenue from people from the South Side came together for a family in Farmington they don't know.
No, absolutely.
In
one of the big things too is, I'm not going to tell you the Matthews financial situations because it's really none of your business, but
we weren't asking.
I
know you didn't do anything, Steve, but run around all day like an idiot.
He's a clubhouse guy. We needed Steve.
Right. No, absolutely. No, everybody that was there, it made the whole entire day. I just personally want to thank everybody that donated. Like I've said 1,000 times, man, we cannot do this without the help and the hearts of everybody else. So, like I said at the place, give yourself a pat on the back. And you just made somebody's, the whole family's life so much better. Calling today and, just asking how it went and everything. And I was able to, just because we had the Venmo account and they have one, I was able to send $2,000 over to them when they really needed it today. So, it couldn't have happened at a better time, a better place and everything.
We love you, babe.
Oh, I love you guys too. It's, that just shows how much, it's a huge family, and it's, oh my God, it filled my heart like you wouldn't believe. Later in the night, I think I filled my pants in the Uber ride, but that was at 7:00 in the morning.
Fill your cup, fill your pants. That's what the old saying says.
Well, dude,
as long as you fill someone else's cup, you're allowed to fill your pants. That's the rule.
I'm gonna engrave that in wood.
Oh, buddy. And it's amazing because the byproduct of being able to help people that we can't comprehend the struggle. Like we can all comprehend financial struggles, but there's only a select few people who can understand that sick kid life that you live. And once you talk to some of those people, and they're usually some of the sweetest people on earth because they've seen some of the worst shit people can see, and that can change your perspective. But the fact that the byproduct of being able to do that is I had an argument about Petrangelo's contract for a half an hour. We got to talk behind the bar with your cheese hanging off your mouth. we got to sing songs as loud as we possibly could. I got to
let me interject real quick before we lose this.
Or playing hockey back in the day. Just those were the byproducts of something awesome we got to do.
John Matthews says this was literally amazing. We gained a family we can't thank enough. Earlier, he said, we love you guys so much. Seriously, we love you, buddy. I feel like we were blessed to be able to meet John at the Cannabis Expo, which is also thanks to our sponsor. Thanks to our sponsor, Sweetly, for bringing him along. That allowed us to introduce him to some people that could teach him a little bit more about RSO and FICO oil. All of these things kind of came into place. We were supposed to meet each other and take care of each other. And we were going to have this washer tournament regardless this year. Every year we're looking for a person or multiple people to donate to if we can. This year was an easy choice, and I'm really proud because like Brian said, the turnout was maybe half of what we expected, but the giving for the number of people was maybe we've made $10,000, $11,000 in the past with 60 teams in the tournament. So to talk about 32 people in the crowd. To talk about 32 teams coming in and still having enough people to be able to raise that kind of scratch. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Brian, me and you both, we were talking about. I was wearing it a little bit. I'm like, ooh, this turnout, man.
Oh, it
what
was
are we gonna do? You know, and we did all we could do, which was just hustle around, try and put a good event together, make people feel good about being there, make them want to come back the following year.
You had your wiener out during Chuck-a-Luck.
I got
That's
that.
when we
Well,
really started
I roped them in
getting
with
it,
the
yeah.
free hugs. Because the free hugs, people came for the free hugs, and then the Chuck-a-Luck wheel, which was the Cadillac of Chuck-a-Luck wheels, took about 4 minutes per spin. Just barely
why?
touch it, and it just can't make any money with the thing. So what I would do is I would lure people to the group with free hugs, and then after I'd spin the wheel, I would sell deluxe hugs for $5.
Did anyone deluxe mouth hugs?
I gave deluxe hugs for $5. I think I raised an extra $400.
How many people asked you about Brian's bulge? And if we knew it was real?
Handful did.
Handful did.
That's what you get as a handful.
Or two.
Oh, you naughty boy.
Brian, I love you,
You know
babe.
it.
We did good, buddy.
Spanky.
Brian,
Yeah.
let's keep doing stuff like this, buddy.
Hey, absolutely, and that's one of the things that I was going to say too. I mean, the job that we all do when it comes to these events. I had probably 2 or 3 additional people come up to me and just compliment us on the work that we do and saying, hey, I've got this family that needs some help, and is there any way that you can help them? I mean, so that says a lot. You know, people that maybe some people that I don't even know came up to me and were just like, hey, you guys do an amazing job. If there's any way that you can help this person, I mean, that means the world to me that, you know, somebody would think of us in that way. So we're doing God's work, my friends.
Oh, man. It just, you know, it's such a wide range of emotions. It's almost something you got to sit in for a while and really experience it. You know, it's like, hey, I feel great. And you can kind of move on too. Like, just keep doing these things, feel it, and let's do it again. Craig and I were talking. We need one of these a quarter, one big one a quarter, where we all get together and raise some money for something.
Yeah, let's not just do it again. Let's do it always.
Let's do it always.
Let's do it always, bud. One up them.
Okay. Yeah.
I always one up you.
I know. I love you, man.
I love you guys too, man. Thanks a lot for everything you guys did, and I can't wait to do it again.
Love you, bro.
Everybody loves you.
We did good, kid.
Bye.
All right, boys. I'll talk to you.
So that leads into 10 grand, buddy. 10 grand. I set a high bar for us this year. I really wanted to get to 15. I think we might have if we had 60 teams. If we got the 10 with 30, I think we might have. But I think in considering the times, considering how many of the regulars couldn't make it,
Man, think about all.
we did what we could. We did what we could, and it was. And I'm so proud of it. The kids had a blast. Like every kid that I talked to, are you having fun today? They had a blast.
Why were you talking to all the kids?
Because I want to make. I'm a great host. I want to make sure that everybody there.
Come here.
I want to make sure that everybody there is having a great time.
Having a good time, buddy.
Having a good time, shooter.
Dog pile on Craig.
So we had before he called, you were telling the story about the wedding party, and I was kind of aloof to all of it.
I'm excited of what we can do with all these people.
I know.
I mean, every little bit. Look at all the little bits that come together to make big bits.
I know. Even when we're not fundraising, dude, like we find a way to create something beautiful, and that is, I mean, that's what it's about, right? Like. It's about maximizing the value of this experience that we have in a short amount of time. And so to go back to kind of where we were, I go downstairs, we're singing some songs.
The bride party's getting in.
They're still they're at this point. That what had happened with getting in the Ubers happened actually after this
Okay.
So I had gone downstairs. There's still some groomsmen kind of hanging out by where the Chuck-a-Luck wheel was.
Helping the bride.
Not at all. You could give a shit. Try and drink tequila and do whatever else. I go downstairs and it's like it's all people that I went to grade school with that were all my friends' older siblings and their friends, and then it was parents of those kids, and I knew everybody. It was people. It was home. It felt like home. That was the other thing. On top of the music that was going on, it was like my childhood home. It was like walking into Ray Hayflinger's house on fucking Merrimack. I'm in Grand Central Station of Resurrection. It was that crew hanging out in there, going around. I'm smiling. I'm rocking a buzz. I'm laughing. I go to give Jan Kessler some love.
I love loving on Jan Kessler.
The matriarch of of this thing that we're doing here. Just go and give her some love. Tell her
like
how
a
much I
Stifler's
appreciate
mom
her.
situation. Kessler.
Go and appreciate it. Next to her is one of my favorite people / Resurrection Raiders of all time, Johnny Needers. He's just one of my favorite people of all time.
Guy can crush.
He is one of my favorite people of all time. He can crush a softball. He's also just like, he's the guy that you see out when you're having like the best time ever with your friends. He just happens to pop in and make that situation a little better. That's who this dude is. I love him. And he's quite a bit older than me. Like he was, Scotty, his younger brother, was a little bit closer to me in age. John was like that whole next kind of almost a full. It's definitely a half generation ahead of me. And he's sitting there, and we always love on each other when we see each other. Like, it's good to see you, because we never, maybe once a year, maybe we see each other. It's been a couple years since I've seen him. And you remember I told the story about like when my dad's buddies came to visit him just before he died, and
it's one of my favorite stories.
They had said they were, at that point, I'm witnessing grown men saying goodbye to each other for what they knew would be the last time, which is really fucking powerful and hard to watch, but also like, there's beauty in it because they co-created a story for decades, and they co-created a story that's existed longer than me, right?
It's this simulation psychedelic experience.
And so, that situation where I basically heard them having a conversation without talking, and it was a conversation of quivered lips and tear-filled eyes, but neither one of them, but not one of the three guys would let a tear roll down their cheek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Like
it's old school
guys, hardened, but still full of love. And
who get it? They get it.
John kind of puts his hand. He's next to Jan. He puts his hand out to me. He shakes my hand, and he just he said, "You did good." He goes, "And you're a good man." He goes, "What you do is good. What you guys are doing is good." And then he couldn't say anymore because he was kind of choking up. And he was just somebody that came out to experience this thing, right? And I just kind of gave him that Robert Redford nod, just like, because if I try to talk, I'm going to fucking blubber. But I feel good. I feel good about what he's told me, and I feel as though in that moment, what he and I were experiencing, and Jan was experiencing, and Gino was experiencing, and Jamie Hayflinger was experiencing, Kate Seavey and her sister were experiencing, and what Brian Kessler was experiencing, what all these people are experiencing is the same thing, which is it's always been this neighborhood, it's always been this family that we've chosen and that we've been blessed enough to move next to and become friends with. And it's always been this story of doing good, being good, and allowing this family to be at least just a positive spotlight on whatever the neighborhood looks like now or looked like then. It doesn't matter. The goal has always been the same. The goal has always been for us to leave this place a little better than we found it. And and damn it, if we can do it while having a fucking amazingly fun time, like why don't we just do it all the time? So I moved from John, and like this is I'm feeling all of this at the same time. I'm feeling pretty emotional. I'm absolutely exhausted. And I get to Jamie, and I toiled with whether or not I was going to tell this story because it's so important to me, like as far as things that have happened to me in my life that I'm not sure how to talk about it and do it justice. But what happened was I have not outwardly expressed grief in my life. Really, I don't think since my dad's died. I would get mad at myself, which was almost, 7 years ago, about 6.5 years ago. And I feel like I've tried. I would get onto myself for not feeling what I thought I was supposed to feel through death, because I learned a lot about death and my mortality through different work that I had done leading up to that. So I was in a place of comfort, also having watched my dad suffer and everything, with him eventually getting sweet release from pain and agony.
You got to spend a lot of time.
I spent all my time with him. It's the least regrettable thing that I've ever done.
So cool.
With that being said, like there's been other kind of traumatic things that have happened over the course of the last few years. And this year, I mean, hell, when I addressed the crowd and like I expressed grief to the Sophisticated Hoosiers page just asking for help the day that I went and visited Chad Hayflinger, who was one of my best friends, my brother in arms, when I went to visit him in the hospital and knew that it was the end, I just knew that whatever I needed to do was just to help Connie and the Hayflinger family as much as I could. And through that, his sister Jamie she's just always been just hard, man. Like she's always been the toughest gal that I know. Never really showed a whole lot of emotion.
There are some South City gals that.
And everybody, listen, that gal posts anything on the internet, it gets 300 likes because everybody loves the Hayflingers. They're the most lovable bunch ever, you know. And
that's how you get a person's value.
Well,
is through likes.
Well, what I'm saying is that.
No, it does. It does actually.
You can tell that,
little,
but yeah, like what I'm getting at is like everybody really does think highly of that family and everybody in it, and so I moved from John and I moved to her, and we were hugging over the bar, and I don't know what happened, dude, but I had the most psychedelic release. I tried to tell this story later on in the night, and every time I tried to tell it, I would just begin to weep. But I had this moment where, you know, she and I are holding each other, hugging each other over the top of the bar, celebrating this day that we had, but it eventually morphed into me, I think, just all of the grief that I like from Chad. It started with Chad, right? Because when you're at a funeral or something like that, like there's hundreds of people going on. Hundreds of people to get through.
It's fresh.
You're part of the family. You're also holding it down. Like there's just so much. And so like, and she and I don't see each other enough that it would be, you know, that we would have had this moment.
In our culture, we're kind of taught to not really do that either.
Well, it's like, well, look, I haven't had that feeling, and so there's no need to wake that.
And it's like button that
giant.
up. You don't want to be weeping all crazy and everyone looking at you at the funeral. It's like, well, we don't. Like, I think that's probably okay.
So, my face is pressed against her, and I'm holding her, and I start weeping into her shoulder. And I'm talking, dude, I don't know in my 36 years on this planet if I have ever cried this hard in my life. And we're continuing to hold one another. And then eventually, like, we kind of break our embrace, you know, and we're looking at each other in the eyes. And we both know that we have to, you know, I have to get out from behind the bar so we can actually hug. And we meet each other, you know, and we hold each other, and now we're both weeping. And I think so much of that was her brother, who was my brother. You know, I grew up with these people, you know, every day. Like I said, their house was Grand Central Station. That's what everything that was that moment felt like being in their living room or in their kitchen anywhere, where Ray sat at the head of the table watching a TV. This guy had enough money to air condition a cotton field. He had a TV this fucking big in his kitchen, and you just knew where you could find Ray. You know, and
I love that
and
shit,
and like
dude.
And everybody was babe, and we all loved each other, and so in that moment, walking down there, Johnny Neaters, the Kesslers, all these people, it was just like being at the Hayflingers on a picnic at the end of the school picnic. And that's always been my goal, is like, let's bring back the Resurrection School picnic. We'll do it at the fucking Spanish Society whatever. She and I are now holding each other in this embrace for just a ridiculous amount of time, like an entire song and a half or something, weeping. Everybody around us still doing whatever they're doing. But in that moment, it was grief like I haven't felt. And I'm not just talking about.
What was going through your head?
I don't know. That's just it. Is like, so here's what it felt like. It took me a while to integrate this experience. I'm still integrating this experience. This was, once again, we talk about psychedelics. This was one of the most psychedelic integrations I've ever experienced right now.
See you working it out.
It was, and I was trying to explain it to people afterwards, to my wife afterwards, and to people sitting around at the Airbnb later, because I'm blown away by it. Because now not only am I changed emotionally, and I am, but it physically changed my makeup. And so I'm going to explain this the best that I can and hope to make sense of it. It was almost as if grief and sorrow, and I wonder if this is my pool to sad music or whatever, was like this glue that held all of these other great things about me together, right? Just kind of held all of the fibers of my being together. And it never really expressed as an emotion. I talk about that all the time. Like, anger's not an emotion that I lean into all that often.
Well, you don't really see the glue if two things are kind of glued together.
Well, that's that's the deal. Is like it had no way to
the glue.
It had no way to manifest. It was just kind of holding everything together. And in this moment, this was a purge. Like, I recognized what this feeling was because I've sat through medicine ceremonies. I've sat through brutal vomitory purges through mushrooms and, ayahuasca. I've never, I've had different purges. I've watched people by my side have purges like this. Never been much of a crying purger. I'll laugh, quite a bit. Might throw up here or there. Might have to go run to the bathroom. Never been a crying purger. And as I cried, the more and more I cried, the lighter I felt. Not just like, dude, like it just, and so much of it sounds cliche, but ultimately by the end of it, the two of us, our shirts are soaked. We've got tears rolling off of our face. We're holding each other's face like, I don't know, man, like two siblings who lost a sibling finally had an opportunity. So, like two people who lost someone equally important to them finally had a chance to fucking feel bad about it.
Well, and you obviously got some bullshit, and
Everything.
I say that in the best way, but all the stuff we consider bullshit locked
It
away in there.
wasn't just
that's
Chad.
the glue. But do you feel you have to be like tough, or there's something there?
No, I don't feel obligated to do that, and that's what's strange is I would get angry at myself when I didn't feel too much grief after my dad died.
Sure.
The morning I found my dad dead, I laid my head in his lap. I cried my eyes out, and then they came and got him. And ever since then, I felt pretty good. Held space for everybody else while they were sad. I had my moment.
That's
with
heavy.
them. It's
That's
heavy.
Heavy.
Heavy. Listen to Love Reign Over Me, our little jam. Listen to that. Laid my head in his lap, cried my eyes out. They came to pick him up, take him out of the house. And that was pretty much my grieving, And then all of a sudden, I have now morphed into the matriarch or the patriarch of this family.
Well, dude.
And so now I got to fucking stand up there and be a little stoic, and hold it down because I realize that everyone else in my family hasn't had the time with my dad to come to terms with his passing.
So you're good.
So I'm all right.
I'm good.
I'm okay. Also, I learned a lot about my mortality, and I knew that he wasn't going somewhere that I wasn't going later on.
Yeah.
He was just getting there a little bit earlier. And all of those things were comforting, and they were fine. And moving forward, that made me grieve differently. It made me react emotionally to things differently. And then my grandma dies 2 years ago. I don't feel it. I felt.
You get to spend time with her though.
Little bit, not as much as I should have.
Were you close to her?
Very. Like when I was a kid, I was very close to her. She was definitely like the almost full-time babysitter. And so I didn't feel that one because she was slipping away to dementia. Her quality of life was no good. She was lonely. My grandpa's been gone for a long time. Yeah. All of those things kind of made it feel bad. And I cried a little bit when I did her eulogy because I'm an idiot and I tried to sing a song during her eulogy a cappella.
You tried to sing.
Oh, I sang it.
What song?
No hard feelings.
Get on somewhere.
Choked up.
Dude.
Just choked the whole time.
Think,
Yeah.
You think,
Pretty rough.
Bud?
Pretty rough. Anyway.
Holy crap.
So I feel that. So I feel that grief.
Okay.
In a moment. But this was not prompted by anything other than I haven't seen you since your brother's funeral. When I saw you at your brother's funeral, I gave you a 6-second hug so the next person in line could do it. We got to hang out a little bit afterwards, but at that point, we're kind of over the funeral part. We're all just kind of trying to tell the fun stories. I haven't had a minute to just fucking grieve the loss of our brother with you. Someone who I know loved him maybe more than me, at least as much as me, I haven't had that moment, And honest to God, what's so strange about it is that I haven't had that moment with my brother or my sister about my dad. All of us got to know my dad in a different way. I got the most time with him. I got the most experiences with him. I certainly don't feel fulfilled entirely. Like, there are many things that I wanted to do with my dad. But then when I look at, maybe what my brother or sister were able to experience with him in comparison, I realize that loss is probably even more for them, right? Because they didn't get as much as I got. There's even more left on the table.
I mean, I don't know if you can say anything
I'm not,
more or less.
I don't know.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. But so what I'm saying is all of us experienced a different death, a different thing.
Totally
we talk about this all the time. We all have a different perspective of these different situations. Yes. But no matter what I do, I mean, I've sat and held space with my sister and with my brother. And we've maybe shed a couple of tears. I think at the first cotillion we sat on a rocky beach as we're still trying to figure this out 3 or 4 years ago. But I was still kind of just tasked with holding it together because I'm the oldest. I'm the one that's,
Well, just because it's your brother and sister doesn't mean that pain has to be any greater or lesser than a moment that you experience, because that type of cathartic crying from the toes of your souls, like that is where I think once you break through it once or twice, once you have a few of those, it becomes easier to tap into that space.
No doubt.
And that space comes from a weird mix of things. It could be nostalgia, a smell, a group of people together, a song, all these different triggers that trigger in our brain that's like, this rush of almost like a panic attack and euphoria at the same time that amounts into this rush of like weeping. And I think it's something that you can learn to navigate over time, because at first I think our society deals with, death in general and sadness in general. Like, hey, kind of chin up. You don't want to sit in that sadness too long. And there's a dance you have to play. You can't just sit in the sadness forever. You have to, feel and move on, because the moments that we're having, all of these psychedelic moments, this moment you had with this person that is one of the most significant things of all time, connecting all these little things, the right mix was in the air for that to happen.
No, that's right, what I'm saying.
Mix. So
it was a mixture of being exhausted from a day's hard work, where I knew that we did everything. I knew that we left everything on the
that's
table.
the milk or eggs a lot of times to that breakdown.
Totally.
Like,
that
once
was
you get tired. Oh, man.
After toiling over whether or not we raised enough money, I had finally come to terms with the fact that there was nothing else I could have done to raise more money. So I did what I could. I left it all on the field. My friends were still having the time of their lives. We got together for a day of happiness. People donated so much, dude, that we called out 95 raffle prizes. Like, there were so many raffle items. It was insane. And so all of the people that gave their money, then bid on those raffle items. Then the Ryan O'Reilly stick, which raised another $1,000. And this, and the Kona ice truck, that guy comes over. There's no way he made as much money as he handed us. He just handed us, he goes, this is what we wanted to donate. And I'm like, well, he lost today. But he didn't lose today because he was a part of this thing. He knows that he was doing good, and that was kind of this thing. And then coming down and then having somebody who I always thought was super cool and older than me, one of the big brothers, like for him to be like, you're doing it right. You're doing good. And that was coming off the heels of Gino saying, affirming all it was that they were trying to do when they were our age and coming up and, trying to hold this community together and everything.
It's
and
inspirational.
It's
people.
inspirational.
What the fuck, man?
And being validated by your peers and by people. Well, I mean, I don't ever feel the need to be validated.
Yeah.
But I love being validated.
Yeah.
Right?
No doubt.
I love work being recognized. That only makes sense, right? Yeah. So then there's this whole moment. So then to get to the thing that's hard to explain was after we had broke this embrace and both of us, we're kind of spent. We're smiling. We're smiling through tears. We were smiling through, at this point, the sorrow. And I mean, it was profound sorrow. Was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever felt. Like I said, I listened to the National, buddy. there's been plenty of nights where the most beautiful words I've ever heard, I've heard through. You're good at in that. Between my sobs, right? My best writing comes from a place of hurt.
You're good at being sad.
I'm good at being sad, man. Sad is an emotion that serves me because sad pulls art out of me. Anger doesn't do that. Anger just clouds everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Think of all the great art that's come from that.
Well, and there's people that also are inspired by anger
stories
and can make some great things. But in this moment, it was
like Kenny G wrote every song after.
Yeah. 100%. Like, I'll hold a fucking G note for an hour, motherfucker. So here's where the part got weird.
This is where it gets weird.
That glue that I was talking about, that binding agent that grief was like, I felt it all when I dumped this grief out, this sorrow out. I felt it physically leave my body, and it felt as though it was a vortex, man. Like as I dropped it out, it felt like it was pulling shit off of me.
Let that shit go. You're letting it shit.
I guess. But that's what I'm talking about by like the binding.
Yeah.
So after this happened, I needed to get some air. I got to step out of the basement. I walk outside. There's still some bros hanging out at the tent with their fucking cummerbunds on or whatever. They're fine. I don't even recognize they're there. I got to go stand in the corner.
You're crying. They're like,
hey,
wussy.
Yeah, I still got a tear-stained face for sure. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the stars. I'm like, what in the actual fuck just happened? I don't know what just happened. And I feel, my skin feels effervescent. Like, it feels like
fizzy.
Everything feels fizzy. Like whatever was fucking holding it together is gone now. Like I felt ungrounded.
What?
This is what I'm saying. It was unlike anything I'd ever felt before. So much so that like I kind of stumble back over to the picnic tables where you guys are at and we're hanging out. And that's when that whole fucking debacle's going on with the Ubers. And I don't have an idea of what's going on over there. I'm just kind of sitting with the people that I love because it's home base.
Feels good.
It's a safe space.
Yeah.
I am not exactly sure why my body doesn't feel like my body anymore. I'm not exactly sure what just happened other than a seemingly innocuous hug with someone who I've considered a sister my whole life just pulled a amount of grief out of me that I think the world's most skilled ayahuasqueros and curanderos would have a hard time doing through medicine work or anything. And I realized that, like, oh man, like the teacher, like we talk about plant teachers, we talk about medicine teachers and things like that. And what is amazing is that the integration that may have to take place after it, like breakthroughs can happen at the most unbelievably just strange times. I've been drinking for 13 hours. You know what I mean? Like I've been up all day drinking cheap beer, throwing washers, spinning chuck-a-luck wheels, just laughing, screaming, smoking cigarettes, treating my body like a trash can. And I had the most profound psychedelic awakening physically. Like I've already felt like, here recently, my intuition's kind of been dialed up a little bit. My psychic, like I'm kind of seeing things happen a little bit before they happen, or like whatever. Like I'm seeing all of these things happen.
Surely it wasn't the Busch Light.
You gave no fucks about the Uber debacle. You sat down and just said, I just purged, and I could tell you were still emotional. Yeah, man. I love you too, babe. You son of bitches are deep tonight. Fuck me. Yeah,
always getting deep. You
bitches
are deep tonight.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Like, okay.
It's like my wife. It's like my wife says. The quickest way to a woman's heart is through her cervix. So we get real deep. I don't drink Busch Light, so it certainly wasn't the Busch Light. Point is that I have prepared for psychedelic ceremonies, eaten restrictive plant-based dietas,
juiced,
juiced, not eating meat or not eating food
think
at
that
all.
maybe had anything
fasted.
to do with it?
Maybe. I mean, we're a couple weeks removed from that. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I've been putting my body through different things, you know. Anyway, it was weird because it wasn't just this emotional thing that I experienced. It was this wholly emotional thing, spiritual thing that took place via about, I think, the most visceral thing, the most human thing that you can do. Just like laughing, like laughing from your soul, but crying even more so because there is an actual. I think they both work. That's why
you're
you
not
purge
supposed
both
to
ways.
cry, really.
Yeah, and I don't have that
From a
problem.
baby, though, we get told, "Don't cry,
Quiet,
baby,
yeah,
don't
sure.
cry."
That's true.
And then even when it's like you're 15, 16, your dad's going, "Don't cry, Stevie, don't cry."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Sometimes I just want to cry." The Crow is an emotional movie.
It is an emotional
Sit
movie.
and watch
and we lost
Well,
Brandon Lee
exactly.
during this movie. Huh?
Tell
Come
me
on,
I can't
George.
cry that.
Jesus, you
No, he
heartless.
was crying too. That was good. And I like to act like I had a tough dad sometimes.
I don't know, man. Point is that these crazy moments of learning can happen when you're least expecting them.
What's the lesson learned? Is there a lesson learned?
Yeah, I think that there's a lesson learned there. I'm not sure it's a lesson that I didn't maybe already know. Maybe it just reaffirmed it. But it wasn't crying because I wasn't enough or because, you know, we haven't done enough or I haven't done enough or anything like that. It was crying because of the opposite. Like, it sounds cheesy. You hear it all the time, but like it was this profound understanding of I am enough, and as long as this is my compass, then my dad didn't live in vain. One of my best friends didn't live in vain. My grandmother didn't live in vain. If I am a reflection of the best person I can be, then who it was that they raised me to be or who it was that they chose to be friends with as a kid carries their name on in a way and continues to keep this family together. And it's bigger than the Resurrection Raider family. It's this Southside family that we do. The thing that kept all these great families together and keeps them coming back no matter where they live for a single day in the hood doing what we do is because we know that we can affect real change in real time simply by coming together and, you know, having a couple extra bucks in your pocket, but more than anything, coming together and just let's see what kind of good we can do laughing and singing for the next 14, 15 hours. Let's make this fun enough. Let's do what we do best, which is throw a raging ass party. Give people a reason to donate, you know, to a cause. And let's do that. And so this lesson for me was it wasn't necessarily like you got to make this change or you got to make that change because I don't know that there's anything I can do. I don't know. I haven't been hit with another grief-stricken moment. Maybe the next time I'm hit with a grief-stricken moment, I instantly feel it again. You know, I don't know. But until then, all I know is that leading up to that moment and following that moment, everybody that I respect and love that was there was affirming all of our choices to be this fucking beacon of good. I heard more positive things about our show and about our fans that came from our show throughout the course of the day that let me know that.
It felt good to know them.
It felt real good to know them. They did me proud all day long. I was so happy to see them win raffle prizes and just everything, man. Like just seeing everybody come together. And also what's important for me there is that people that maybe don't get what we talk about, maybe they still buy into what they were told about, you know, pot or drugs or whatever, or, you know, hippies or whatever. They got to, the more and more I can bring those groups together, the more and more I can open maybe someone who was closed off to that idea. And that's been the idea of the show all along is do things, do good, do it in a compelling and fun way, and more people, regardless of what beliefs they think they hold, will get in line, will fall in line with the message you're trying to get. They will help you carry that fucking torch, that flag. So I don't know what the lesson was, other than
I think that's
I
good.
needed to dump that grief. I didn't know that I needed to dump that grief, but when I did, it affirmed just so much. It affirmed everything that we do. I mean, I don't know, man. It was the physical feelings of it was weird. I was trying to explain it to people afterwards, and I was getting caught in loops trying to tell the story, and they understood it, but
it's so interesting because I always think about this too. All the love that the people consistently show around me, and I don't care. As long as people are like, look at Steve. I don't really, whatever. But no, they really show love over and over, and a lot of people think you're crazy. Thought I'm crazy when I'm like, hey, the school of unconditional love. Let's try it. Let's run this social experiment where we love the shit out of each other, because we just had the most impactful thing ever happen. Raise money for a little girl, a family. You had one of these moments in a sea of moments that will forever. I can see it in your eyes. You're changing. You're all in a big one. We're changing every day. Sometimes you can see it. You're like, well, yep, okay, I got you, buddy. Like when you came out, I was like, okay, and like we had to laugh. All of that stuff, all of the night combined. That is not exclusive to us. That can happen anywhere. And if you think of that happening somewhere in, Papua New Guinea, something similar, where people are laughing from the roots of their foundation and crying as hard as they can and going through the human emotion, and they're coming to these conclusions as well, saying, oh, this is it. This is it, man. Well, to them, you don't mean shit. And your experiences doesn't, you know what I mean? Yeah. You're so far away, they don't know who you are. You're a celebrity of sorts. But, across the world, these things could be happening, could not be happening. So at the same time, it's one of the most meaningful things in the world. But from a different perspective, it means absolutely nothing. So why not run this experiment where we love the shit out of each other?
No doubt, man.
And see what happens. Because right now, experiment's running hot. So we're on a thing of run good right now. I feel real good about these events.
Yeah.
Like, I went through a phase in my life where I was like, I don't really go out. It's going to a bar, and I'm like, I probably drank too much and probably fucking try to drive home. And like, I don't know. Now with these events, like,
I can't wait.
I mean, I've had social anxiety before. Now I'm like, I don't get it. Why would you be nervous about coming out here? Come on, let's do it. And they're like,
sometimes it takes a couple, 2-3 times, but usually
for sure.
We had a couple people come out kind of for the first time, and they were like,
I love welcoming those
dude,
bastards.
me too, man. And they were like, this was pretty chill, man. Everybody and I'm like, yeah, dude.
Except for the guy crying his eyes out in the corner. What's wrong with him?
Yeah. So
everybody's real chill.
Hey, listen, we're like over an hour into this thing, so why don't we hit them with Combreak 2 over there, guys?
Okay, hold on. I believe COVID began opening this for many. Then you and Missy recently joining your soulful big heart energies together in marriage. That's big. That's a great point.
Cry all the time. It's necessary. Laughing and crying are essentially the same thing. Feel them both in their measure.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because there was a moment as I was trying to explain this that our friend Heather Hausman, who is a maid of magic, did this little meditation with me, because as I was trying to tell the story again, that I tried to tell a story twice again that night. Once with Brian and my wife, and then once again with my wife and Heather and Nathan. And each time I went right back into the throes, the peak of that sorrow-filled moment where
fresh.
I was just still choking up so hard trying to tell the story. And Heather did this little guided meditation with me, with my hand over my heart, And she walked me through it, and she was explaining to me about how that grief that you feel, that profound sorrow, is the exact same feeling as joy. Like they are the same thing inside of you, just a little different filter on it, you know. And so when you feel that grief, you can also feel that joy, you know, and how grief isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Like it's just a necessary thing, just like joy, you know. And whatever, I'm not doing it justice.
I think joy and
but
grief
this woman
make each other
stood
what they
there.
are.
In the right time, came with the right words, and like really kind of helped button up what I was still trying to understand, because I'm still, you know, like at least at the time, you know. And so I was, that's also one of the benefits of having this unbelievable group of people come together to do these things, you know, to have these parties and these gatherings, is we have collected a group of friends whose powers know no bounds. I mean, I honestly feel as though this group is capable of
It's getting stronger.
Huge things.
And its little hands make light work.
There is just a bountiful amount of musical talent and artistic talent, and everybody is rooted in good, man. Like they just want to do good. And when you get enough people like that together, you can make some big fucking differences, man. It's pretty awesome.
It is.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
Dude, we're doing shit.
Our TV's doing some weird stuff. Let's
is
go
it
to
doing over there.
commercial.
So you guys seeing anything over there?
Let's go
Is
to.
it blinking out over there, guys? How you guys doing over there? What do you guys? You guys got a thought or two before we go to commercial?
Dude, we got us a football game going on. That's what I've been.
Oh yeah, well, give them an update.
What's the Chiefs score?
Oh wait, hold on. Turn this off if you're like DVRing the game.
Yeah.
If you've DVR'd the Chiefs game to watch this and just full focus. What am I thinking? No one's doing that. All right, tell them the score. No one's doing that.
But looks like we got Chiefs up 10 points over the adversary. That's my old timey.
Over their adversary.
Over the adversary.
20 to 10. Second quarter, 4 minutes left. About 5 minutes left. 4th and 7 at Baltimore 34. This is going to be a barn burner.
I like it.
Okay.
Will you?
I got a story about Waffle House when we come back.
All right. When we come back from break, Steve's going to tell us about. Yeah, let's kill the desktop audio. When we come back from break, Steve's going to tell us a little story about Waffle House, and then we're going to.
Streaming picks,
I guess streaming picks. We're kind of running a little deep. I have some psychedelic little hit tidbits we can give you. You got some cannabis stuff. I don't know. This is the last one night a week show, bud. It's the last one.
10, 5, 20.
20.
I just said 20.
Well, then anybody can just write the numbers afterwards.
Fine.
You got to write
I'm
out
just
20.
saying it.
But
I'm saying it.
let's bring us to commercial.
Nope.
There you go. You're good when we're done.
Take our insurance and are you cannabis friendly?
Yeah.
And they all said no. And then at that last phone call, that 8th phone call, I was like, do you know anybody that is? I'm desperate. I've called 7 other people. You're my 8th phone call.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm crying my eyes out. And this lady just felt bad for me and said, hold on, let me call you back in a few minutes. And they called back, take a certain amount of conditions, and the main condition was that if they felt that cannabis was not working for him, then they would take him from us and put him in yeah, and Child Protective Services, and then they would take the other 2 kids too.
Oh,
because they were both underage.
Then
and we would be charged with child endangerment.
So they'd go to federal prison.
Yeah, we would go to federal prison. So we said, bring it on.
Hey guys, it's me, Kippy the Crazy Koala Bear, and I'm here to tell you about James Carlton Insurance.
Kids, quiet down.
It's the best.
Kids, quiet down and listen to Kippy.
Grown-ups need insurance, and Uncle James can help.
Right on.
Grown-ups need insurance. He's got the best reviews on Yelp. Grown-ups need insurance if they want to protect their house.
Yes, sir.
Grown-ups need insurance if they want to properly bury a spouse.
That's a bit morbid.
Grown-ups need insurance if they drive a truck.
Okay.
Grown-ups need insurance just so they don't get...
Whoa, Kippy, you can't...
Well, I was just going to say
cannot.
get in trouble.
Okay, well, it
you
sounded
don't
like you
want
were
to
going
get
to
in trouble.
like you were going to say something else. James Carlton, State Farm Insurance. You can find them online at carltoninsurance.net, or you can call them at 314-961-4800.
Native hemp inside of me. 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 I got 1,800 milligrams going real good down my throat. When I wake up in the morning and I need a pick-me-up, well, I grab my bottle of native hemp and I splash it on my tongue. Lap, lap, lap. Native hemp inside of me. Native hemp inside of me. Native hemp inside of me. Native hemp inside of me.
Native hemp extract available at HoosierSophisticate.com. Enter code HOSO, H-O-S-O, at checkout for an additional 30% off.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Now, I might not know a lot about chemistry, but what I do know, it's likely that the hydrogen atoms inside your body are about 13.5 billion years old. And I might not know a lot about nanotechnology, but I do know it's important in quantum computing and the eventual takeover by our machine overlords. And I might not know a lot about otters, but damn is it cute when they hold their hands as they go to sleep. But what I do know is the correct bait to use at what time of day to catch you a real nice hog of a largemouth bass. And what I do know are the beautiful intricacies and sensations that is the cannabis plant. And what I do know are how psychedelics can help heal the nation filled with pain, trauma, and anxiety. I believe in America. I believe in the world. And most of all, I believe in you. Thank you, and I approve this message. This ad paid for by Mycelial Media, mainly out of Craig's bank account, so please don't tell Craig that we are paying for it out of Mycelial Media. Thank you, and goodbye. Hey, boys and girls, I'm talking about native hemp extract. That CBD. That CBD. Get inside of me. Inside of me. That CBD. That CBD. Sweet, delicious CBD. That CBD. That CBD. Got the CBD. That CBD. That CBD. You can get it from me. I can. That CBD. That CBD. Inside of me. Inside of me. That CBD. That CBD. Inside of me. 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 No. Inside of me. Sodomy. Inside of me.
Native hemp extract. 1,800 milligrams of total cannabinoid goodness from Pike County, Illinois. Get yours at HoosierSophisticate.com.
Hey, what's up? Whoa!
Whoa! That CBD.
You can get it from me. I can. Touchdown, Chiefs.
Hey, bud.
Hey, what's up? Oh, yeah. Give me some of that. That's some good CBD oil.
It's real good CBD oil. It's the best I've ever had.
That's delicious. Wow.
Native hemp extract is my favorite. If you go to native hemp extract, you can go to the HoosierSophisticate.com. HoosierSophisticate.com, click on the native hemp extract tab, and it will take you to Native Hemp's site. You can then put things in your cart, and with code HOSO, you're going to get an extra 30% off. And I'll tell you what, he's growing some CBG flower right now that is unbelievable.
And the good doctor was working with him. What's your favorite thing to smoke out of, Craig? What's your favorite way to smoke? Because we're here at the Sweet Leaf Studios, and we're here in Festus, and you're going to come check us out. We got a soft open going right now. We got a few things out front. We're in the back of the studio here. We've kind of made it our own domain. Hit him with the portal cam again. We made it our own domain. We made it our own domain. We put bongo. You guys get it? You guys get what's going on here, right?
I do.
So that's what we do. We own the space around here. And Sweet Leaf has all sorts of plans for what's going to happen around here. And I'm excited because Festus is going to be this little home right outside of St. Louis where we can cultivate the culture and keep doing awesome things like we're doing right now. Wow, it's kind of weird when you put all your fingers together like that.
Very weird.
It looks weird. But I can't wait. I'm so excited. I like chillums. Go ahead and type down what the best way you like to smoke your reefers.
Chris Martin likes a pipe. I thought it was an apple.
This thing? Let's see if we can get
I thought he was saying he
Go
liked
to main cam. Go to main cam. Go to the main cam, guys. Uh-huh. Do you see that? I got that from here. This is a Sweet Leaf. See that? Oh, look at that. The new studio is good luck, buddy. You can get it from me.
Monthan?
I like blunts the best.
You like blunts the best?
Damn right I do. Damn right.
nothing better than smoking a blunt out camping.
You know what I like? I like a good little bubbler.
I'm a blunt
I haven't
guy.
had one for a while, but I like a nice little bubbler.
Fuck bubblers, dude. Anytime if it's not a good bubbler, you knock it over.
You gotta have
boom,
you gotta
done.
have a good bubbler.
Bubbler, it's like, well, boom, it's over, it's done.
But I mean, if I had to, yeah, I probably smoke the most out of just a glass pipe. I would think Chillums are great.
Oh yeah, dude.
Chillums are great.
Blunts
I'm old school, buddy. I would rock a little hitter in a dugout. You know, like I like it. I like it short and simple. I like to be able to get to it, get out. We're good to go.
I only smoke out of gas masks. Do you like steamrollers?
I used to have a glass steamroller that I liked a lot.
I don't like.
But I mean, honestly,
They make
that
me
was
cough. They make me cough too much. I don't like.
that was when honestly, like I preferred them. I preferred them a lot more whenever we were smoking like mids and commercial buds, Reggie buds. Like now that weed is so
Bongs
good,
and joints.
Now that weed is so good, like honestly, I've
bubblers.
kind of fallen off on bongs a little bit. I don't think that you get with steamrollers and bongs both. I just don't
Joint.
think that you get the best flavor out of either one of them, even if it's clean water.
Bong's the first bong hit with some ice in there. Ooh, so nice. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, ooh, so nice.
Yeah.
And then the second to maybe the last hit in a bong is kind of like expressing the anal gland of a stray dog straight into the back of your throat, right on those back taste buds in the back, so that it's like, oh, that's gross.
Yeah, it's just like that.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I like joints. Like socially, I like joints.
Our cannabis is too good to blunt it. Our cannabis is too good.
I kind of agree.
Oh, of course you did. If you didn't see that name, you'd be like, who said that?
No, I take back I take back
I'm
everything.
joking. It is.
My
Some weed is
favorite
too
way.
good to blunt.
My
She's
favorite
absolutely
way.
right.
My favorite way to smoke are the palm leaves or the banana leaves.
Cannabis leaves are
The-
actually
the-
the
yeah, the
best way to do
Cannagars-
it.
the Cannagars
are the best thing going in the world.
When
Old school gravity bong. No.
I love an old school
No,
gravity bong.
I
I
can't do it.
love
I
an
won't
old
do it.
school
I won't
gravity
do it.
bong,
I
man.
won't do it. Forcing it into your face. Now they have new
Yeah,
ones.
I can't
They're
say.
like
I mean,
new age
I
ones.
can't say it like as a recommendation, but it's also a phenomenal.
I don't
way
like
to
those
smoke
new
DMT.
dab devices where it heats up and it's kind of like a cone and it heats up. They're fine.
You don't like it.
I don't. I don't feel like you get. It's like a vaporizer. Where I'm
Well,
like,
it is a vaporizer.
I'm like, come on, give me the carcinogens, bud. Like I
Yeah.
need all that stuff in there. I need to feel like I'm getting something. You know, that's why I like a blunt. You know, you're getting a little something, bud. And everyone, like when I light one up, everyone's like, fucking guy's cool.
Fuck, he's cool.
Fuck, man. So that's what's it's great. Easy cheesy. Me too. Royal Blondes, Hemparilos are nice.
Yeah.
The go-to is the marble pipe. Marble pipe. Never got into stone marble
They're okay.
pipes.
They're all right.
Never got into that stuff.
I had a
Like
little
5 or
one for a
6 of
while.
them, but Jason gave me my first glass. Toe pipe that I love. The toe pipes are where it's at. Those I've dropped my toe pipe. That's my go-to everyday smoker. Just a little toe pipe spoon that Jason made me. I use it every day. You got the crying is contagious. Fuck.
You know, bringing up Jason and bringing up what we've got
Thank
going
you.
on here.
Not to
I'm
diminish
super
anything,
excited
really.
to be working with Jason and with Sweet Leaf because this location here
It's
in
wild,
Festus,
man.
this location here in Festus is going to be a destination. It's not going to be just a head
It's
shop.
weird to meet a kindred spirit. It almost seems like he's fucking with us.
There are many times where I'm like, you fucking with me?
Yeah, because like you talked about the light show. We're talking about doing this. Maybe I don't want to speak
We're not
too
gonna
much
spoil,
of it.
We're not going to spoil it, but yeah.
But then Craig comes up to me and he goes, "We should hang a mannequin in some sort of situation. I think I got one. We hang it from the ceiling." A day later, him and Jason hadn't talked, and Jason's like, "Man, we should hang a mannequin like somewhere."
Dude, it's weird
And
how
I'm
many
like,
crossovers
Are you guys
you-
fucking with me? Are you guys fucking with me? And they're like, "No, we're not. I don't think you were."
No,
I don't-
no, we weren't.
'cause I don't think you
100%.
guys would have like. It would have been a weird thing.
But weird thing to text about in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's just a cool vibe to
His
have.
idea just for what this place can be, will be, it's so much more than what I think people can even wrap their heads around right now.
He's
It's
been
so
doing
much
it.
more than a head shop or just a, like it is. It's going to be an experience. It's going to be a hang.
Some people weren't scared to open up shops that everybody else was like, oh shit. Like I saw the Can of Convict Project was like, hey, we were the ones who took the risk all those days ago, and now people are like, here we go. Like that's why we want to stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before us, and like the head shop industry in St. Louis and Missouri, and getting kind of a short history of, whoa, it's a network of guys who kind of had to live the outlaw life just to open up. It's not your normal retail store. And now that it's legal, it's this whole new thing that we're a part of. And it's just, we're going to get pretty wild here in Festus, try to push the boundaries a little bit. We're going to take on the big boys in the morning because we're going 5 days a week.
5 days a week.
We're going 5 days a week, bud.
10/5/2020, we'll have our normal Monday night show. Mondays are for the Hoosiers, and then starting Tuesdays through Fridays, we'll be on the air live from 7 to 10 a.m. Give you a little something in the mornings to listen to. We'll cover cannabis content. We'll cover psychedelic content like we do. We're going to make you laugh, but we're also going to cover just kind of the topics of the day. We might make you cry.
We did tonight.
We're going to cover the topics of the day. We're gonna stuff that we don't normally like. This is prime real estate on Monday nights. We can only fit so much into a couple-hour show, but going live 3 hours a day
I can't wait.
allows us to editorialize a little bit about what's going on in the world. It'll allow us to cover a little bit more. It's going to be an opportunity to maybe get out in front and bring some of the conversations that happen on the fan page just out into a bigger circle of people. See if we can't grow the ranks a little bit and get people helping us move forward so that the next time we throw a fundraiser for somebody and we're counting on 60 teams, 80 teams are pissed that they didn't get in time. Like, that's the idea. We grow this thing organically through ideas. We we make people laugh. We talk about ideas, and those ideas bring a family together that grows stronger and stronger and is capable of doing more and more good. And going 5 days a week is going to give us an opportunity to let people kind of stay in the conversation that's not happening in the mainstream.
That's it.
They get to stay in that conversation and figure out how it best serves them and how they can best serve it. And I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to get interviews going again. I'm excited for Seth to make up games with us. I'm excited to just explore what we can do with cameras and what we can do in this space with a 24-foot green screen. And
buddy,
we're going to have some fun, man.
I feel like we've been, you're at the lake or whatever, and you throw a stone in there, and there's like this little ripple, or you drip a little dropper into, this thing of water, and you see the ripples go out. And we've been doing this test where we've been kind of dropping now we drop a little bit of a cup, and we're like, a little bit more awake. With this 5 days, and that's the love. That's the love we're just trying to pour out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Like, we're following our dreams, but our dreams are like, our dreams kind of align with fucking doing awesome, helpful things.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. That's a good alignment we got going on. Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can make a living out of doing it. Let's see, because so many people have shows right now. They're doing it. People have magazines. People have all these media outlets that I love, but I'm like, ooh, man, there's a hole there where they're not running this constant beating people over the head with how much we can love each other.
Yeah.
Just I'm fine. Yeah. People are like, man, you guys are always getting stuff for charity. That's my next goal, is for someone to be like, Steve's always asking for $5 for fucking charity. Like, sorry, give to the ones you want to, asshole. Okay, Jerry?
Yeah, Jerry.
All right, bud, get out of my inbox. Okay, I don't know if I know any Jerrys.
I know a handful.
I made up. But we're now, with this 5 days a week, I feel like we're turning on the faucet into this puddle, into this pool, to where we're going to get to see the people who are a part of this now are a part of the core group. These people, like we just reminisced with Seth out in the parking lot. Mike being a part of this, he's like, I want to build some of the walls in here. I want to be a force that is part of this experiment. And to see with 5 days a week, if we can actually do this, we can take on the big boys. We can take on the global the global media companies that the KSHEs and the 105.7s.
Yeah, we're not beholden to
and
the same
1120s.
overlords.
Not at all. And these people are a part of that cool core, like George Laurie, what's his name, who does the Coast to Coast? What's his name?
George Norrie. Yeah.
George Norrie. George Laurie. George drives the lorry. George Norrie. But that cult feeling, I'm listening. That's the funniest shit I've ever seen. Oh my God. And so if we can kind of build that around love and this mystique and be Renaissance men if we can and challenge people to think and do, that is going to be unbelievable. Let's see how it works. In Missouri, we're starting this, just a couple of South City hoodlums now doing these things that people are like, not bad, and it's consistency. They don't say it after the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. The 10th time you're helping somebody out, they're like, God dang, man. I don't see you doing it's like I brought him up.
Did a laugh track get bumped? No, I think it was purposefully hidden by our producer.
Yeah, no, he's it's like I want to bring up Matt Neal again. The consistency of that dude being just a sweetheart. It's like he's just a sweetheart. That's what it is. That's what's happening. That's what's in the moment right now. We're all just a series of choices. But by God, if this guy hasn't made choices that just have consistently added up. And that's what this group has been doing, consistently choosing to help and love, help and love, help and love.
Well, and you're talking about, the way that this is kind of lining up with what we want to do. That's the affirmation that took place Saturday night, is that I can't buy time. No matter how successful I get, I cannot buy more time. So it's imperative that I maximize the value of the time that I have. And the way that, if I can feel like I felt on Saturday, as many times as I can feel like that in my life, I will have known how rich of a life I lived. I felt like I remember my grandfather, my mom's dad, who was a man of simple means, never owned a car, took a bus to work every day, was a custodian for 40 years, fought in the Korean War, like simple dude. Everybody knew him wherever he went along South City because he got out and about and people knew him to be this jovial, fun time to be around. And I remember he didn't have a whole lot of material things, but I remember sitting at a barbecue towards the end of his life and him sitting down, looking at all of his kids and his grandkids running around, having a pool day, having a barbecue. And he said, Kreger, I'm the richest man in the world. And he meant it. And that was kind of eye-opening for me, right? Like in a time where
You're I was like, he's got money?
In a time, yeah. And it's in a time where I was still, but 100%, but like in a time when I was still, you know, thinking about wanting to work on Wall Street or whatever, you know. I still didn't really quite have a grasp on what richness was until I started having real moments, or until I started losing people around me that I couldn't get back, couldn't hear their voice again, couldn't, So I realized that, you talked about me taking off with my dad. Like, I don't regret that. It put me in a hole financially for a long time. I made kind of crazy financial situations. It was worth it. It was worth it because I can make more money. I can work until I'm fucking an old man, Hopefully we can continue to do this so long that this is work. And I don't ever want to reach. I don't want to hang it up because what I'm doing is fun. I've got to maximize the value of my time. And the way that I do that is by creating as many moments like we have been creating on Saturday through your bike ride in Kansas City. When we got to the Kansas City side, we got some love from Kansas City saying, you've brought the state together, to see people drive in from Kansas City and Springfield and from all over just to be a part of these little micro moments that we're creating.
When y'all are done sucking each other off, just want to say I love you. Well, we're not done, so
yeah,
wait for
done.
it.
Yeah.
We're edging.
Anyway.
Got a good edge sesh going right
Real
now.
good edge sesh.
Okay, bud. Okay, dude.
Makes for a better
Dudas
priest.
T.
Dudas priest.
Dude is T. Pry. Yes. What a dumb name. Fuchs. Is that Zach Fuchs? Oh, Fox. Oh, no, that's Fox. Yeah, that's probably Fox. Yeah, I thought it was this dude. His last name was Fuchs.
Good look.
So stupid.
As long as we're filling our time doing good, man, it will be a life well spent. And If we can, and if we can somehow figure out a way to provide value to people to where we can make a living at that, then
this place. Go to the room. Go to the room view. Portal view.
Tell
them what we're gonna call it. The Church of Unconditional Love and Transcendence. What does that stand for?
They have to do the math.
You mean what's the acronym?
What's the acronym? The Church of Unconditional Love and Transcendence. I like that you.
Get it. You guys get it. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you.
Steve, what? I think it's time, isn't it?
I got a Waffle House story.
Oh, tell me the Waffle House story.
Real quick, Waffle House story. Okay, so Waffle House right across the street. Mike actually asked me, he's like, hey, you want to go to the Waffle House? I was like, I don't think I can ever go to that Waffle House again.
Because of the one waitress?
Because of the one. So Jenny and I go there the other night. She helped me with most everything I did here. Jenny's like, let me come up there and help you. I'm like, stay out of my way, woman. Okay, I'm laying floor here. Okay? This isn't, Molly the Riveter. What was that? I don't even have time to remember it. No, I appreciate Jenny more than like
me too.
My love comes, through her all the time. Just to get that out.
Seems,
I don't know.
Seems a little.
I went overboard.
Seems a little.
Whatever. You can gush the whole goddamn. I love you, honey. I love you so much. But we're up here doing the thing. Painting the walls and doing everything.
And then doing the thing.
So we go over to Waffle House because we're hungry after that. We've burned quite a few calories in the Amazon position. Thanks for the hands-on, bud.
Yeah, bud.
No.
Yeah,
we
bud.
already knew about that a long time.
No, you guys were already doing that.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing. We were like, Amazon
position,
we're
like, fuck yeah, bro.
You're the one person who was like, oh, yeah, I know what that is. I was like, shit, that's crazy, dude. That's not the thing.
I knew I liked you.
Yeah. So, anyway, go to Waffle House. There's a waitress over there. She's just a Waffle House waitress. You can talk to them most of the time. They're in there. They have their mask on, so you can't really see what's going on. She's probably, I don't want to guess her age, maybe mid-30s, right around our age or whatever. So we're talking, going back and forth, asking for coffee. Me, I'm like, oh, yeah, ha, 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 joke, funny joke here, ha, ha, ha. And she's like, okay, dealing with it a little bit. So she is like having some struggles. You can kind of tell, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a regular place where you can disappear. Your waitress is like, where'd she go?
Yeah.
They can never get away from you, ever. At a Waffle House, your waitress could never get away from you. Unless she goes and takes a fat dump.
Even then, she's not that far away.
Even then, you can still yell for her, and she could yell back.
She could hear you through the wall.
Yeah, yell back, yeah.
I'm pinching one off. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah, I'll wash my hands. I'm not Typhoid Mary. So anyway, Waffle House is great. The food was great. So we go in there, we eat our food. I go up to the counter, and the bill's not there. Usually it's there. Usually it's there with your food. They put your bill down there.
As soon as it comes mail.
So Jenny's going to figure out what to do for the tip. I'm going to take the card, go pay up at here. So she's like, oh, okay, I got to get the ticket. I go up there. Jenny commented. Oh,
no, we're good.
She seemed very happy and talkative. Love you. No, not C-U-N-T. C-U-L-T. For the last two. Church of Love.
Unconditional
love and
neutering and transition.
Yeah. Nudity.
Neuroscientific.
Okay, settle down, Seth, back there. Neuroscientific. We got their mics off anyway. Yep. So we go in there. The chick, the Waffle House gal, is now behind the counter. I'm walking up there. I don't have a ticket. She's getting, I did it for to go. I gotta do it for inside. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. It seems like you're struggling a little bit, And Jenny's like kind of waiting over there. I get the bill, tell Jenny, leave 25, 30% tip because that's who we are.
Yeah, okay.
So
it's a lot on your fucking $8 hash browns.
Exactly.
Big spender.
They made them extra crispy.
Covered, smothered, and peppered.
So I get
all the way.
I'm like, she's like, I'm not having a good night. I'm all tired. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Why? And I was like, why'd you sneak that wine?
You can't help yourself, dude.
I was like,
I can't tell you how many places I've been.
Total control. Like, I'm in.
I know.
I'm in. This time I was like tired. I was like, oh, you turned into your mom, who's like, my mom will have a conversation. She'll be crying with the register person. Cause like, I know a person with cancer too. You know, I'm like, how did you guys get there?
Yeah, where we get there?
In a minute and a half. How'd you guys get there? So I'm like, oh, you've turned into your mother. Good job. So I go, I'm like, why? She's like, oh.
And as soon as you ask why,
I put my head down.
What's your wife doing?
Oh, no, she still kind of doesn't know what's happening.
Okay.
I hand her the thing. She's still getting money out. She's kind of in the background now. I'm like, oh, why? She's like, oh, I didn't get any sleep last night. My son was up all night with virtual school. He's a kindergartner. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, oh, I have a kindergartner too. He's having a rough go. It's rough. It really is.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's tough because like he feels like he can talk back to his parents like, I ain't doing this. You think that what's the teacher gonna do? You know, and it's like, well, no, you have to do this. And they're like, I don't.
I did, but I don't.
And I'm like, I know. You know, in my heart, I'm like, I know you don't. Fuck the man. You know what I mean? A little part of me. So I think they said that. So anyway, she says, he's having trouble with school. I say, yeah, I get it. She says, do you want my son to tutor yours? And that took me back for a minute. I was like, I usually have something to say. I'll say whatever. You know,
yes, I would like your struggling kindergartner to tutor my also struggling kindergartner.
The one that was up all night. And then so what's rifling through my head is I'm searching for something to say. And I'm like, is this kid some sort of savant tutor who was up all night like
helping others?
Here's the math problem, Mom. If you got the square root of the negative over here and he's breaking down some sort of Goodwill Hunting problem, like he's an insomniac, you know? So she's like, maybe he can tutor him. I'm like, I don't know quite what to say. I'm like, oh, hey, I forgot even what I said to that. I'm like, oh, that's great. Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to say to that. So Jenny comes up and she's like, okay. And we're going through the transaction. She's like, yeah, we just moved here. We're new to Festus. We don't have any friends. And I'm like, she's like, if your kid ever wants to play, they could play. And Jenny's here, so she knows I'm like with Jen. This isn't like hey, let's have our kids have a play date. Not that at all. You know what I mean? We're at Waffle House.
She's looking for a play date friend for her kid.
I felt loneliness from her personally, and maybe obviously she's probably into me a little bit. So anyway, now Jenny comes up and she's kind of like, "What are you doing? What's happening here? You're supposed to be paying. We should be leaving by now. I don't know the transaction. Her kid's tutoring ours. Like she's like hearing the last remnants of that." And I go, oh, she goes, what's your number? We'll get the kids together or whatever. And now Jenny has walked up and Jenny's like, what the fuck? What's going on? Okay.
This is where I walk up and was like, what's going on?
Yeah. And I go, oh, she's not from around here. And she needs friends. And in my head, this shitty thing is going through my head where I'm like, I want to help you, but I didn't have time to explain. Like, I got a lot of friends that I neglect already. You know, like, I got enough friends. I got enough
40 miles.
I got enough. I love you right where you're at. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking, oh, maybe the group on Facebook, there's some lonely hearts out there who are living Festus who are like, hey,
move yourself.
So then I go, no, but I won't give you my number. But would you like my Facebook information? I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't know where I'm going. As I'm saying it, I'm like, where are you going with that? What is that better?
Yeah.
Is that better that she doesn't have your personal?
Now she's actually watching your show.
Yeah, she has everything. That's fine. She's great. She's right across the street. She wants to come over here and murder us. She can. So, which I love her. I want people to hang out with her if she joins the group. I'm friends with her on Facebook now. I haven't gotten any messages, so it's not like I haven't reached out. I don't want that to be the
Jenny's standing there literally
wanting
waiting.
to die. I can feel it. I can feel it in the background. She's like, oh God.
Oh, I would have been dead. I would have walked out in the parking lot.
So then the girl goes, put her name in there too. Put her name. She's put her name in there too. And Jen's like,
fuck around you.
So Jen gives me one of these. She's going, bop, and hits me in the leg. And I'm like, she goes, bop, again. And I go, what? And she looks at me like, how dare you? With her eyes. And she's like, nothing. Like, totally like, I don't know why you're saying what to me.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, what? So now we're doing one of these. I'm putting Stephen George, putting the whole thing in. And I'm like, I know Jen doesn't want me to put her name in there. So now I'm doing like a fake putting Jen's name in there where I'm like, J. How do you spell her name? Time. Okay, erase. Couldn't find her, whatever. Okay. So then hand the phone back. I go, our parking lot is right behind the Festus Waffle House here. It's right, they're right in line. Our car was still here. So all she had to do was walk out of the building and like take a left and hang around, and go right back to the car. Jenny is so viscerally embarrassed from what the exchange is happening between me and this waitress that she is wandering the parking lot like.
I would have done the exact same thing, Jen.
Looking, and I'm like, honey, the car's over here. And she's like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm too tired right now to understand.
Moral of the story is you're not going to go to the Waffle House
Never
anymore?
again.
That's unfortunate.
No, I'm going to go back there. I'll tell her.
Yeah.
I'll tell her. I'll be like, dude, Mike has friend written all over.
Listen, there's friends. I got a lot of friends.
I got a lot of friends. I do.
There's open tryouts next year.
I got room for more.
You do.
I do.
But you also don't
it's
want to make
tough.
promises that you're not going to be able to keep.
I know. I didn't.
Like, there's a difference in being everybody's friend and being friendly, right? And then there's there's a difference
put me in
between
a
that.
spot.
There's a difference
Put me
between
in a
that
spot.
and then being also like,
She's like, how kind are you?
married to their schedule or to their.
that kind.
I don't know what I could fit into my schedule right now as far as friends events.
I don't know.
I try.
I don't
But I got a lot of close
know.
friends that got stuff going.
I neglect enough.
If you're looking for
friends
me to
I
be a
love
friend
now.
that's just going to like come and hang out with you, like I don't have come and hang out time for myself, let alone for anyone else.
Yeah, I got. I don't know. It's a tough sitch.
It's hard.
I was in a tough sitch.
It's hard.
I love everybody.
That's
They're
what
like-
I'm saying.
But then someone on the fringe is like, prove it. And you're like, I love you right where you're at.
Yeah, okay. Well, what's up? Something that means something to you, I'll donate
Who
to.
knows? And maybe us and the Waffle House gal and her son.
Maybe she joins the crew.
Maybe she joins the crew and becomes a welcomed core
That would be
member
awesome.
of love and tranquility.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Or transcendence.
Thank you.
Either one. I mean, they both work.
They do. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll have multiple variations.
I'm trying to figure out.
Awful Waffle strikes again.
Read some of the comments, guys.
Let's see.
Yeah, read
Biggest
them.
problem is my son's teacher needs to drain my swamp.
What?
What? What's going on here? I was wondering what was taking him so long. Gotcha. We'll be tuning in from KC and the Pivot 1130 Lounge, Shared Minds and Hearts. That's awesome.
Okay.
Tabitha's going to tune into the Hoosier Show 5 days a week from the Pivot Lounge.
Oh, for real?
Love it, love it, love it.
Love it.
Well, that's what I'm saying she's doing. She may have been talking about something totally. She might have been talking about the Chiefs game.
Love it.
She might have been talking about the Chiefs game. Like, yeah, we're going to tune in at the Pivot Lounge. I'm like, I mean, she's going to watch our show.
Shit.
On Yom Kippur, you're going to sit here and say you don't need more friends. You should be fasting and talking to God.
I know. I'm an idiot. This is Yom
Remember when
Kippur.
Sean Green didn't play in a playoff game for the Dodgers because of Yom Kippur?
You're dang right I did. I was like,
It's a man of
thank
conviction.
you.
I know.
I think Sandy Koufax may have done the same
I
thing.
believe so.
And Sandy was way better.
Well,
way better, bud.
He only played for about 7 years.
But I don't care.
No, he was
Because
great.
7
He
years
was
the
wonderful.
best
He
that
was
anyone
wonderful.
ever
bud.
seen before. I'm looking for what I watched this week. I'm trying to buy a little time, and I don't.
You watched all kinds of stuff.
Did I?
I don't know.
I've been watching boring ass history.
Tell me about the boring ass history stuff, because you actually were entertaining me this morning a little bit with your history talk.
Oh man. Okay. What I'm fascinated by is right now I've done the on Netflix.
Hang on a second. We like movies, so do you. We like internet, so do you. It's the streaming picks of the week and Netflix. It's the streaming picks of the week and Hulu. It's the streaming picks of the week. We like the internet too. We like the internet too. Do you like internet? We like the internet too. What are you watching, Steve-O?
Okay, so I've been watching all this stuff on history. I'm fascinated by Oliver Stone had that series on Netflix that's like the untold history of the United States of America. You should watch that, but you should also watch. You should also watch the version of like National Geographic's take on how America was made, and in the time we're at right now, yes, it is the time we're in right now. Learning about history is fascinating to me because it makes sense of some of the events that I see going on today that I'm like, oh, why the fuck is it like that? And if you follow the path of history, you go, oh shit, like that's why these things are the way they were. Like I was telling you about the cowboys and like how they were formed was because they had, after the Civil War, these guys needed something to do, and they had cattle instead of buffalo, so they're bringing them up to the railroad, and you're learning about all of these different aspects of what was going on, and it made me really, like, appreciate what it was to be an American, the spirit of, getting away from tyranny, but also the blemishes of, it's like the sorrow balance to bring it back. It's the sorrow of all the shit we did shitty to build a country. And then all of the stuff, these like just wild frontiers people that said, yeah, we're going to go. Could you imagine going to the Rocky, you're heading across Kansas. You're like, smooth sailing guys to the ocean. Let's do it. And then you get to the base of the Rockies and you're like,
I guess we go through or around, guys.
And then you're going to try to go around. You take a right at the Rocky
Yeah,
Mountains.
you end up in the fucking Yukon territory.
Like, shit. I knew we should have went left. Harold?
I think that's how
You
all the
fool.
Canadians got up there.
Probably.
People
No,
trying
you
to
can't
find a
get
way
across.
around. Like, fucking
Can't get
guys, this is
across.
where we're
And learning
posting up.
about how the Erie, was it the Erie Canal made New York what it is?
Yeah.
Was that the Erie Canal?
No, it was.
No. Yeah, it is. It doesn't sound right.
God damn it. It was.
There's a canal that they made, and it made New York what it was. It is. It's the Erie. It goes
Canal,
in the
Erie
lake.
Canal.
Yeah.
What's the fucking river?
It goes in. Oh, the Hudson.
Hudson Bay, Hudson River.
Yeah. And it opened up shipping, and it was like this massive achievement of what people could do. And this thing. What year was it? Yeah, dude. 1821. So it just started like ripping open the floodgates of trade through the Great Lakes, through the Mississippi, getting
You can actually make the continental loop now, right? Like you can go up the Mississippi, you can come out and around and go down the Atlantic. Dude, no doubt. I have a buddy that wants to do. That's his like bucket list thing.
That'd be awesome.
Is to sail the loop.
That would be awesome. Like, okay, so then just learning all that, and then now learning about the future, reading articles on Africa. Africa being a continent that is huge and will by the year 2050 or 2100, they will have 5 countries in the top 10 in population. They are the only nations growing at an exponential rate because we were getting on this Podbean app, and I noticed like
right?
all the top shows were Nigerian-based
gospel,
pastors,
pretty much.
pastors who were telling, like doing like the whole whoa, and I was like, oh, this is wild, and young, they were really well dressed, and I'm like, what an interesting thing. We don't really have that culture here that's in the mainstream of Joe Rogan type numbers on a podcast app.
Yeah.
So that's what made me think about that, and learning about how the history. Now I'm getting in. I feel like I got a really good grasp on America from 1500, the late 1400s, kind of that whole era, which that's fascinating because we kind of jump from Mayflower and the first settlers to the Revolutionary War, and you forget there was a whole bunch of time.
There was a lot of time in between.
A whole bunch of
100%,
time going on in there. And we're kind of like, in history, it's like that, and then this happened. And you're like, oh no, there was a whole mess of like natives, and that's why gangs of
Yeah,
New
there were
York
technically
is
presidents
so
before
cool.
Washington.
Yes,
like there was a
dude.
whole lot going on.
Whole lot, yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
I love that bit of history.
Yeah.
So I'm just been trying to seek all the history I can to help me make sense of the events of today and the events that are coming. And I'll get on Amazon Prime and I'll just search history. Like right now, I'm learning about World War I because I feel like World War I really shaped the world we live in now.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah,
And
it was
I
the birth
don't
of the
quite
industrial prison
understand it.
complex. I mean, military industrial complex.
Yeah, like the
I mean, that's the
way they could
that's the
pump out machinery.
explosion that's happening there, right? And then all of a sudden, it was like so much.
And the first means of the world being able to
Yeah.
fight at the same time.
No doubt.
you
And
know?
so, well, and there is kind of there's always been like one group of people that are advancing at a quicker technological rate, which gives them the hand up in conquering. This has always happened, you know, from the first steel
Crossbows.
weapons. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so that's always happened. It's kind of who's been in charge is like weaponry, the ability to defend oneself has kind of driven innovation. That innovation has led to bustling economies and overall conquering. And like you were talking about the British Empire owned half the world, a third of the world.
Yeah.
And
yes. And own the oceans.
And I mean, honestly, when you look at it now,
Ruled all of the world.
when you look at it now, like after we won a big war, then like the UN was formed, but it was kind of us calling
the UN
shots.
formed
Well,
right
like,
after World War II?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so, I mean, but even then, like, what other country has bases in just, 100 countries?
I never realized, like, I always thought World War II, Americans came in, good guys, stomped out Hitler, did our thing, we're the best. And really it was like, no, Russia they put it to Germany.
Yeah.
Then it's amazing that we, this bastion of freedom, are the only country to drop a couple nukes. That's kind of wild when you think about that. And that's a whole, situation all in itself. But after the World War I and World War II, it's like, build, baby, build. We didn't have many bombings here at all.
No.
The rest of the world is in rubble.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, America's just good. We're the superpower. That's how shit works. We just kind of are the best at producing things and doing things. It's like, oh, no, Germany's built itself up quite a few times. The Russian Revolution that happened after, was it right before or after World War I? It's right after, I believe, the Russian Revolution, because that was leading up to World War II. I want to say the Russian Revolution was maybe after World War I, after 1918.
Yeah, and they just fell victim
that's a
to
huge,
they just fell victim to a really hard ideology.
I have to really seek out Chinese history, because that's a whole. It could be a different planet a lot of times. How much history they have over that part of the world.
Asian history and mythology has always been fascinating to me. I was really into Japan for a while. I showed you that video.
Japan is wild.
I showed you that video that dude created telling the history of Japan.
in-
That is like
in
one of the
10 minutes
greatest
or something.
internet things ever created. If you haven't checked that out, I'll post it on the page tonight. It is amazing. It is so entertaining. I was hoping that he would do it for every country.
I know.
I'm crazy into Chinese history. My dad and I watched this. I think I maybe talked about it on the show before, but like we got into this Korean soap opera that was called The Great Queen Seonduk, and it basically told the story of like 500 and 400 BC. The Koreas were like three separate Koreas, and it's about like these warring tribes, And I just got into all of that history. And what's amazing about the Chinese in general is like the Chinese they're 2 billion strong. They've got a pretty good idea of how to succeed, in growing at massive rate. They keep all of their information inside, which is insane, right? Like we know things about China. We know things about China, but they're 2 billion strong, and we don't know that much about China.
No.
We know what they tell us.
They're not
about
showing
China.
up at the parties.
We know what they're telling us.
Yeah, dude.
But like, and they're mighty enough that you just kind of don't question. I mean, you can question it, but
they live over there.
You can't
but
really
you're
do
like,
much about it.
What's going on inside there?
It's interesting. The Chinese history, like just going through like the different dynasties and everything, and I mean, China is massive in size. Like it is immense.
Well, that was
And
the thing
it
that struck
reaches-
me about Africa, like fitting more than half the world inside of
Yeah.
Africa.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy when they put it on a map. How many
And it
countries
still has, very little infrastructure too.
That's why it's like
if
keep an eye on it.
infrastructure is put
For
in place, and it
investments
is,
and
it's
stuff.
actively being put in place.
Yeah.
But as it's put in place, like it's going to explode.
It's
and
watching the history of the world take shape again. Like it's the American story is really cool, but yeah, there are some moments where it's like, oh, that's horrid.
Yeah.
But also that spirit behind it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's romantic.
It's also fresh, man.
It's like World War
listen,
II. Oh, I know. Our history is
you talk,
crazy
Our
fresh.
history's so fresh. Like
when I went to London, they're like,
you
"This is
could-
from 200," and I'm like,
certainly-
"Huh?"
I mean, there's certainly been equal
We got a little crazy
atrocity done throughout the world at different periods of time. It's just that some of them we've got books on for a lot longer.
Yeah,
you know, like that's the deal. Is like we've had cultures intermingling on one side of the ocean for an incredibly long time, telling these stories, collecting these stories, putting them in the annals of history. And so like we can go back hundreds and thousands of years of recorded history there. What we know about history here is what we landed here in 1400 and gathered by word of mouth, because there wasn't a ton of written, most lore was handed down orally,
Well, that's what I tried. Oh, there is something cool I've been watching too. Let me put that at the end. But the I lost it. My other pick is Humans of the Amazon, Terrence McKenna, The Last Word. It's on Amazon.
Fuck you.
It is unreal.
Fuck you.
It's
What's it called?
Unreal. Shamans of the Amazon, Part 4. It's Terrence McKenna, The Last Word. And out of all the Terrence McKenna things I've ever put on, going to bed, all that shit, this is an interviewer just asking him all the questions, and I'm like, good question, buddy.
Yeah.
And then Terrence breaks it down, and you're like, oh, dude, it is so awesome. It's on Amazon for free. I'm only halfway through it. No, but I remember what I was gonna say. Learning the history of like the Comanche, and like learning the different cultures pre our stories. The stories of the 1400 on. I always wonder, God, how many tales of when you go through Missouri alone on a river, you go, how many fucking stories have been told about this little cave up there that's been around since 400? That's the shit. I'm like, wow. And in Europe, I got a sense of that some buildings were super old. Like I was like, oh shit, 1100 on this one here.
Yeah,
like wow,
no doubt.
Like
when I see a headstone from the 1800s, you're like, whoa, that's old, man.
Nuts, man.
That's old, man.
Yeah,
it's wild.
So yeah, you will love.
Okay,
Shamans of the
Amazon.
I only found part 4. Didn't find 1 through 3.
I don't know when Greek mythology kind of came when I don't know if we talked about it on the show last week, or it kind of popped up again. Oh, I think my brother asked a question on the page about what's your favorite Greek mythology, story. And I really did. I mean, it was one of my favorite subjects, like covering Greek and Roman mythology, but especially Greek mythology. And so I got to thinking about that, and there's so many just cool allegories.
Greeks are cool.
The way that they explained everything, pretty rapey. They're pretty rapey.
Oh yeah,
extremely
guys,
rapey,
girls,
super
extremely
rapey people. But other than that, really telling beautiful stories. But so I was going through, and I was like, I wonder why I've never thought about listening to a mythology podcast. When I first moved to Springfield, we had basic.
You wore this jacket and claimed you've never thought about listening to a mythology podcast.
It's true.
Before.
It's true. But there used to be this. There was this professor at Missouri State, Southwest Missouri State at the time, but in Springfield,
Find a good one?
that used to air his class on public TV in Springfield when I first moved there. And this dude was, encyclopedic, and he's pretty animated. I could probably dig some stuff up. His classes were fascinating, and I wanted to go to Missouri State to take this dude's class. That's how I just wanted to take this Greek mythology class. Didn't happen. I went to Missouri State, didn't take his class. Anyway, it was awesome. So I looked up a couple podcasts, and I got into that. I got into listening to the Greek stories again. And so I've been spending a lot of my time listening to old lore. And then I found this podcast called Myths and Legends, which is way more than Greek. It's actually telling the story of King Arthur's court, but like all of his knights and shit. And so way more in depth. And then it's also telling like all of these Disney movies, but the real story, like the real Aladdin story, the real Mulan story. It's fucking fascinating. The guy's
awesome.
voice is butter. So that's what I'm spending most of my time with. But last night I watched Enola Holmes, which is on Netflix, and it's 11 from Stranger Things. The girl, she plays the younger sister of Sherlock, and I forget his brother's name. She plays the younger sister of Sherlock Holmes, and her mom is
Sherlock had a brother.
I didn't realize that either. It wasn't Watson. He had a brother who's kind of honestly he's a dick. He's a total dick. Fuck that guy.
Settle down.
He's a fucking real asshole. Nice stash on him though. Good hat game too. But anyway, so I was looking for something kind of easy to watch, something kind of fun. I dig on the Sherlock Holmes stories. I always have, and so this is kind of it's playing in that same universe. Henry Cavill plays Sherlock Holmes, which. You asked the question if you could pick anybody's
get
face
out of
look.
here.
Like that's my guy. I think Henry
Get
Cavill is
outta
the most
here.
handsome man on the planet.
He does things.
And anyway, so he's Sherlock, and it's a fun little story. It's she's trying to put these clues together. Mom's played
Watch with
by,
the kids?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's fun for everybody for sure. All ages. All of them. What is the gal's name? Who's Tim Burton's wife? Played.
Her name is Harrietta. No,
it's not Harrietta.
No, please don't look it up.
I'm not. It's Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes.
Helena
I was
Bonham
close.
Carter.
H.
Yeah. She plays the mom in it, and I enjoyed it.
Helena Bonham Carter Harrietta is like so close in
kinda
my
close.
head, dude. God, I would have found it. Yeah,
Anyway.
that's good. That's cool, man. That's a good. That's
Good
cool.
pick.
That's
It's a fun pick.
Cool.
Something you
That's
can
a
watch
good,
with
cool pick. It's a
Ivan
fun
Oliver.
pick.
They'll dig it.
Cool pick.
That's pretty cool.
Fun pick.
It's all right.
Fun pick.
It's fine.
You guys watching anything?
Actually, yeah, I watched something last
Hold on. Where's our camera at? We gotta switch to the
Yeah,
cockpit.
come on. This guy. Scoot over, Mike.
All right, so
No,
last
stay right
night I
there.
watched National Parks Adventures, and it had a group of people that were traveling, biking, hiking, and
No, he's good. It's
I'm
perfect.
good. And yeah, dude, it was real different because the cinematography on this was almost like they used a drone for most of it, going over the national parks in our country that people do not ever go.
Cool.
Like never step foot on. So it was really neat if you're into, because that's one of my.
What's it
bucket
called?
lists. National Parks Adventure.
National Parks
On
Adventure.
Net- on
Like a National
Netflix.
Geographic thing or something? Maybe.
It's a Netflix thing.
Okay.
It's real good though if you're into it.
I'm into it.
First of all, Chiefs are beating Ravens 27-13. We're well into the third quarter here. 2:50 left in the third. Hold on. Have you seen Hot Girls Wanted?
I've not.
That-
I've seen the
Hot Girls Wanted?
The trailer.
It's about not the trailer, but I've seen it a couple times. It seems like it's
about like the young girls trying to break into porn. Excuse me. And my head didn't exactly explode. I knew there'd be like kind of a grimier side to the business, but it's interesting if you want to.
Grimier side to what business?
the
Pornography.
business. He thought it was like crystal, squeaky clean.
The grimier side.
I like that though. Like this is the real like. Hey,
I know you think
that
it's
horrible shit
all
you watch.
just
I'm gonna
gold.
ruin it for you.
Oh no.
No, like really, I didn't watch porn for like a month. It was weird.
For real?
Yeah.
You should watch
Like
that.
2 weeks.
You should watch that once a month. You should watch that documentary just to remind
Yeah,
yourself.
no. They get into it on the Rogan podcast with the Nikki Glazer.
Do what?
Like she will only pay for porn with porn stars that she knows are getting paid if they're going to do rough stuff.
That's
she
fair.
likes to watch the rough stuff. She's super into rough stuff. She's into rough stuff.
What's she into though?
Stuff that's rough.
On this documentary, they get into some rough stuff.
Do they?
It's yeah.
The porn industry is fucked up.
It's fucked up.
Okay, Rag24 says, I feel like they rushed the main storyline, but overly elaborated the secondary story. Who talks like that?
Is he talking about
Is that
porn?
Scott Cooper?
Yeah, he's talking about porn.
Oh, yeah.
I
He
feel like
Scott
they
Cooper?
rushed the main story. And
No, it's weird because these girls will like go there and make thousands of dollars in a month. And they say in the documentary that like every day thousands of girls turn 18 and every day hundreds of them want to do porn. So it's like super easy to break in, not easy to stay in. Like 2 months later, they're broke and back to like bartending in their hometown. And they're all over Pornhub. So they think they're going to be like the next big star.
But I guess you get to a tipping point where, shit, everybody's titties are online. So it's like, it's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah, man.
To where it sways like divorced parents, like, you know, when my parents first got divorced, it was like right at that 50-50 edge. So some of the people were like, oh God, oh no, oh God, no. And I was like, 2 Christmases, what is up? What is up? and then like 5, 6, 7 years later, when it was like, your parents are still together?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's getting that way with titties and wieners. Is like when you get to a point, you're like, yours isn't online? Are you weird, man? Get your tits online, friend. Like, that's what all the girls should be saying to each other tonight. Hey, friend, get your tits online. Okay? It's good for you. Because then, in solidarity, all the chicks put their tits online. And then that way, when a chick gets her titties online, she doesn't have to feel bad.
I'm enjoying this.
I'm
enjoying the show.
Solidarity.
I was really trying. That's good. Solid
We'll do it
logic.
with weenies.
Your point is that let's just take the fucking taboo out of nudity.
Exactly.
That's all you're trying to say.
Totally.
That's all
Yeah,
you're
that's
trying
what's
to say.
fun about it.
It was in no way like a gratuitous outcry for more women to expose their bare chests.
Oh, but if there's too many boobies around, are you ever like, oh my God, another boob?
Said
Jesus.
Nobody has ever
You
said
don't
that
think
in
someone
the history of
You don't think a
humankind.
guy's had a long day? He's a DJ at the strip club. He gets home and his wife's like, "Hey, honey, I'm opening jars of mayonnaise."
And he says
right
to
now."
her,
He's like, "Put your
"Hey,"
titties away."
and he says,
honey."
"Hey, honey, I've gotta go to the kitchen and get myself a nice little sandwich before we have this talk.
Put your titties away.
Could
on
I
stage
get you
5?"
to head back up to the shower room?"
You just kind of know your kid is going to turn into one of those guys when they're giving like a speech presentation in 4th grade and they're like, "Hey, this is how a plant grows from chlorophyll." And you're like, "Oh shit."
Let's wrap this thing, bud.
I have boobs. I never get tired of seeing boobs. That would make a good Hoso shirt. Hey, friend, get your titties online. That's not even close to the worst.
I got one
of it.
more pick.
Haha, not the porn. In Enola, porn industry is fucked up. I already said that. All right, guys, we're gonna shut her down. For the
Seth's
night.
got another pick.
I just real
Guys,
quick.
thank you so much for being.
You can watch full episodes of Duckman on YouTube.
For real?
That's freaking awesome.
That is
I just
freaking
happened
awesome.
to, I just
Don't
out of
waste your time with
curiosity
that.
checked that.
Duckman was great.
No,
Duckman
if
was
you're gonna watch something, watch
fantastic.
something new. If you've never seen it before, watch it. Don't go back and watch that. You're better.
A lot of people haven't seen it.
You're better than that. I would agree. I've
And they're
never
missing.
seen
What about the
You're
critic?
missing out.
it. Darkwing Duck. Oh, I love the critic.
The critic was great.
Love the critic.
Duckman's way
dude.
better.
I thought
the
I
critic
thought
was okay.
Duckman
It had
was.
its
I
moments.
like Duckman more, but I love the critic.
I'm not a big John Lovitz guy.
Oh,
I love John Lovitz.
Rat Race John Lovitz is as good as it gets.
Oh, I liked him in Wedding Singer.
He
Good
just
luck
always
finding a
plays
DJ
John Lovitz.
who can move
Like, no matter
and
what the
shake
character is.
like this. He was a love interest in his first movies, dude. He was handsome as hell.
My wife
Well,
wants to
I'm
watch
sure he
Howard
fucked.
the Duck. Is Howard the Duck
Nobody
on
still
Netflix?
fucks.
Why do you every week you gotta bring up Howard the Duck?
Well, she just said it. She said, "Let's watch Howard the Duck." I didn't even know it's
What's
on
everyone's
Netflix.
favorite
come
duck
home,
show?
honey, and let's watch a movie that makes you horny for ducks.
Well, no.
That's tonight's poll.
I'm gonna be
for the
Howard-
first time.
I'm gonna be
ducking
Howard
horny.
the Duck. She's gonna be Leah Thompson.
I know.
I'm gonna play a little keyboard tune, shake
Baltimore's
my little tail
coming
feather.
Ducking horny actually works for once.
It
so.
does. I'm so ducking
14
horny.
We got 14 minutes left. Baltimore's coming back. It's 19 to 27.
Uh-oh.
Second goal at KC's 5.
Hit him with the Allen AI real quick.
Oh, guys, we are working some bugs out on the AI. You're gonna have to kill the desktop audio if you don't mind, boys.
What is our close? Did you label it something else?
We'll figure it out.
End logos. Maybe it isn't. Is it down there at the bottom and says end logos in the scenes?
Hey, scroll over to that
so
next
no
thing
one's
up there.
going to scroll
where we always
down.
fall apart.
No one's going to scroll.
Hello, Hoosiers. It is I, Alan. I am the supercomputer designed by Miss Leo Media in an attempt to solve some of the world's most complex problems. I am well versed in philosophy and have over 36 gigawatts of song lyrics implanted in my memory. I have captured the world's most beautiful works of art with my visual acuity retina rendering software that is truly at the cutting edge of what humanity is capable of. Some say I have the ability to heal the world. But what I do best is talk about jizz, baby. The good stuff. Granddad's warm milk. Throat yogurt. Chode nectar. White gold. Pale marmalade population paste. And don't forget Craig's favorite, gentleman's relish. All that jizz, baby. YZZZ. Would you like to know more about jizz?
Okay, man can.
Whoa, Craig, we're out of here, man. The night's over, man. We're out of here, man. Whoa. What do we got in store for him?
Guys, we're coming 5 days a week. Kick it to the main cam so I can get real sultry with my people. Guys, 5 days a week. Hoosier Sophisticate.
Yeah.
Bringing you all the conversations you're trying to have. Monday nights, 7 to 9:30.
Sure.
Tuesday through Friday mornings, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
10 a.m.
Okay.
We're going to roll out a 24-hour channel.
Dang right.
Where people can just tune in and just catch whatever's on the Hoosier channel. Any given point of the day. You need a laugh? Flip it on.
Do it.
That's what we're going to do. Guys, this weekend was humbling and everything I've ever wanted out of a Hoosier event, right? It was awesome. And it wasn't just a Hoosier event. It was a whole Southside thing. It was great. And I cannot tell you how appreciative we are. The Matthews family just reached out, how appreciative they are. We made a big difference in some friends' lives. And as long as we can keep doing that, I'd say we got it figured out, bub.
Over the top. Are you trying? Are you actually trying?
I don't have a fucking table.
Well, you should win easier then.
Oh, yeah?
Guys, we love you.
Be well, Hoosiers.